here. There we go. Now I'll be able to see chat messages. Well, here in a second. It's still hard for me, let's be honest here. Wish there was a way to make that bigger. You guys give me a second here while I figure some stuff out. Hopefully you guys had a good weekend. I got to go up and drive around and, well, not me driving, but got to visit some family, so that was really fun. Okay. You know what? We're just going to start like this, and you're going to see me squint like an old man to read when it comes time. So, let's do this here. We're going to use some True Black Tarot here, and then we're going to use some Wild Unknown Tarot. Okay. And we've got the Energy Tarot here as well. So let's see what we can come up with here. Just move these over here for a second. All right, these cards here are awesome. Really easy to shuffle. Kind of a no frills kind of a deck here when we're talking about the Wild Unknown Tarot, but super easy to shuffle. Hey, Rana, how are you doing? How was your weekend? Let's see what we can do here, guys. Let's see what we can do. And let's do a few more shuffles here. And then I'm going to shuffle the energy deck, and then we're going to go from there. I'm good. I am good. I'm doing really good. Like I was saying, we went to see my sister and her family for the weekend, and that was fun. Well, just for a day, basically. But it was fun. It was fun to get out and to be doing something else. We went to, it was my niece's birthday party, her 5th birthday party. And so that was fun to go to. She is and this is an interesting thing too, she's the only star sign that I'm aware of that she is a sun sign that would be considered the Ophiuchus sun sign in astrology. So that's like the 13th zodiac sign, and it represents the snake. And it seems like it's pretty rare. There's certain zodiac signs out there. There's yeah, but Ophiuchus is like the 13th one, and so that's cool. Hey, Zara Holmes. So if you want to, you'd be the first on the list. I do charge $10 a question, so if you're up for that, we can do that. Okay, let's shuffle these one more time here. Manju, how are you doing? How was your weekend? Yeah, it's so December 5th was her birthday. She's 5, and so you can't tell anything yet. She seems like someone who I think is going to be very fashionable. Let me put it that way. So I think that's going to be fun. She's such a cute kid. She really is. Okay, so let's do this. And I've been shuffling those ones for a minute, but I haven't used those ones for a while. So let's do this here. Alrighty. Okay. Weekend was hectic. How about you? Went to see my... Hold on a second. Went to see my niece. It was her 5th birthday. Hey, Lori Sue. Everything is going good. How are you doing? So we went to see her for her 5th birthday, and that was fun. It was fun to just spend time with family and see everybody there, because it's my niece and then 2 nephews. Oh man, kids are interesting. They're so damn full of energy. I forget about that, living in my little hermit bubble. I forget that kids actually have a lot of energy, like excess energy. I haven't had that in a long time. Okay, let's do a couple more here. Yep, everything's going good. I like to get out of the house, go to the weekend. Yeah, it was good. It was nice. It was really nice to just have a change of pace for a bit, you know. Okay, so let's get some cards down here, guys, and let's see what we can come up with. I'm gonna place these ones face down, and then I'm gonna go like this. Okay, so let's do this again. We're starting to get some people coming in here. So I've got 3 piles here, and this is gonna be the energy for tomorrow. So I've got 3 piles here: pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. Don't know why I had to count them out. You guys know how to count to 3, but here you go. So you guys tell me which pile you want. So this is, well, maybe I'll just hold them up. Okay. How can I do this? Thank you for the like, whoever liked. I appreciate that. Okay, so this is pile 1, this is pile 2, this is pile 3. Okay. Now remember, there is a wrong answer, so you guys got to be real careful here. I'm just messing around. There is no wrong answer. I mean, we'll see, right? We'll see. But I'll set these back down. So this one here that I'm holding in my right hand, that's pile 1. This other one that I'm holding in my right hand, the whole thing is going to be me holding them in my right hand. That's not going to help you guys, is it? 2. Sarah Garcia says 2. Okay, perfect. All right, so we'll do 2. Good, because unless someone was going to say something, that was going to continue for a minute. All right. Let me see here, Lord. Candidly and in introspect, I value my work with my rescue animals over that with adults. I've done both, but dogs and cats are dear to my heart. I hear you. I hear you on that. And Rada says 2 as well. Awesome. Okay, so we're reading the second one first. I've got to get real comfortable here and take off my Crocs. Okay, if you guys, you know, they're like Lego shoes, as in they look like shoes that Legos would wear. They have the little Lego guys. These are awesome though. If you get the ones that are lined, I do love a good pair of Crocs. Hint, hint, in case anyone wants to give me a Christmas present. Good pair of Crocs. All right. Everyone's going with 2, so let's do that one. Here's number 2. Okay, let's see what we get here. So we have got, and look at this one. See, so we got Star Wars here. And it says, I find your lack of cheer disturbing, right? I only got a few weeks I can wear these Star Wars shirt. No, Rada, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm actually really horrible at knowing my own shoe size. Yeah, I'm awful with stuff like that. Okay, so 8 of swords. Okay. And then we have, and I'll read both of these here. Oh yeah, definitely serious. Definitely, yeah. When the Crocs are off, wish I could come up with like a pun. Rain's a little off today, but that's all right. 8 of Swords, Goddess of the Moon in reverse. So here's what we're looking at here for tomorrow. I'm feeling like we could be making a decision where there's going to be, I feel like it's going to be a multiple choice kind of decision. So there's going to be 2 or 3 different ways that we can go into this. And I feel like that part of us is going to say, it doesn't feel like there's a right answer. It doesn't feel like there's a right kind of way for us to go. But one of these choices that we're going to have tomorrow, I feel like is going to be the right choice for us personally. It's not going to be the right choice overall, because I don't think there is an ultimate right choice, but it'll be one that makes sense to us in the moment. Hopefully that makes sense. Hey, Jenny G, how you doing? So hopefully that makes sense, is that I'm feeling it's going to be more about making choices and definitely being in a situation where we're going to have to make a choice. We're going to have to kind of start looking at what it is that we want to do. And this is going to be something, when I see this one in reverse, Goddess of the Moon in reverse, it's going to be something, maybe the choice, okay, maybe we're going to pick a choice that is very different from what we would normally pick. And you know what? Life is all about choosing, and not all about choosing. Life is all about choices. and making choices and seeing kind of what happens, making it your playground, you know, so you're not kind of stuck in one way of thinking. Yes, this is coming from a very stubborn Taurus individual, and you would think I'm the most stuck, and you'd be correct. But, no, there's nothing else to say there. Very stubborn, need to work on changing, but I'm here. I'm trying. Hold on. So, good, hanging in there. Hope all is well with you. Yes, all is well. Everything's going good, guys. Thank you so much. Everyone's been wishing me well, and I'm wishing you guys well as well. So I'm gonna take this one here. We have 2 piles. We have let's say 1 and 3. You guys can pick the next one. I'm actually gonna leave this out because we're gonna do an overall energy reading after these are all done, and then we can kind of make a story together with all of these. Lori, you're very, very sweet. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, you guys. Yeah, pick a pile. Yeah, pick a pile. That's what I should be saying. Yes, pick a pile. Whichever one you guys want. There's two. There's 2 right now. So we have pile 1 and pile 3. I just read number 2. And pile 1 is... Okay, so pile 1 is this one. Pile 2 is this one. Or maybe it's mirrored on your guys' end. I'm not really sure. Pile 1. Pile 2. I will put these even higher up in the air. Here we go. You can do this all day. No, my arms are getting tired. I'll just remember pile 1 is at the... okay, so pick 2. That's okay. That's okay. 2, yeah, you'll go back. You'll see that. I'm also going to do an overall kind of theme reading at the end. So if you pick 2, here's what we'll do. We'll go with 3 right now. And we'll go from there. All right, so this card's been coming up a lot. So I'll read you this card, you guys. So this is for people that were more resonating with the pile 3. You know, the number 3. It's a good number to resonate with. So we have 3rd chakra, and you guys have seen this one. You're probably getting sick of this one. 3rd chakra, Archangel Shamuel in reverse. You know, he seems like he would be a cool guy, honestly. Someone who just kind of keeps to themselves, right? Someone who's just kind of along for the ride. And then we have 3 of Cups, okay? And this one was in reverse, I do believe. So if we have, I'm wondering if I turned that card over in my hand. I don't think I did. I'm pretty sure it was in there. So what we could have tomorrow is we could have a situation where we're feeling like it's not quite up to, maybe we're doing something in our life and we're feeling like it's not quite up to, thank you for the thumbs up, guys. I appreciate that. And liking and subscribing is awesome for the channel, and we're already getting some likes here, so this is good. Okay, so when we have 3 of Cups, that's like working together, that's emotional, like cohesion, things working together, unity, right? But when it's in reverse, and then we have 3rd chakra, Archangel Shamuel in reverse, it could be that we're wanting to work with people, but we lack the vocabulary. We lack the emotional understanding to try to get people to understand us, if that makes any sense. It's kind of like we're lacking the people skills in a way to communicate with people, right? Which is, that's interesting, right? Because we are people, and so for us not to be able to communicate with what we are, yeah, so you guys can kind of understand that here. It's definitely about, and maybe, I feel like there was a psychic message coming, oh, here we go. Got our other handy dandy little notebook here, so let me open this up and let me start writing. So I'm doing this to just sort of get some more messages here, because this one I'm feeling a pull. The pull to me is feeling like there's a little more here than what I'm seeing with the cards. So let's do this. Let me open up this here. There we go. All right, everyone, and I'll say this right now: donations are open. If you guys are wanting to do those, $10 for one question. But trust me, I take my time. We get you answers, and there's communication. Okay, so let me do this here. It's interesting. Okay. And Lori Sue, let me just suggest to you and those in this chat as equally relevant readers to follow, if you don't mind, David Johnson is exactly who he portends to be. Gifted, honest, accurate. Please take a look. Awesome. Yeah, if you guys, the more the merrier. We need to build up the tarot community, right? And Kimchi Bai says, hi, how are you doing? How's everybody doing out there? First thing, thank you for the like. First thing that we're getting here is I'm getting the word tingle, which is, that's interesting, right? In this situation, though, I'm feeling like there's going to be a situation coming up where I feel like we know what we need to do, we know the right thing that we need to do, but there's going to be some fear here, and so emotional kind of things here. Thank you, Kimchi. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Hopefully your day's going good. Mine's going good. So another thing that I'm seeing here is the number. I feel like I'm seeing the number 9. And the number 9 is interesting because it's like the number 3 times, which is what this is, right? When I see this right here, it's making me think that we could be going into something where, if it's in reverse, we could have people that are wanting to misunderstand us, okay? They're wanting disharmony. So it's not necessarily anything you're doing, even though sometimes our confidence can be low and we'll sort of think that other people know us better than we know ourselves. This isn't the case. I'm feeling like we're going to be in a situation, possibly, where, oh, your birth month is 9. Awesome. So, September? Let's see. I state this to honor your honesty as in talent. Not to advertise, Dave. You're good. You're good, Laura. You're good. I'm not, you're absolutely fine. You guys talk about whatever you want in the comments, you know, as long as you're respectful, which you're being respectful, so we're all good. We're all good. Don't worry about that, Lori. Just let me see here. The number 9 represents, I see it as the Virgo card as well, which is 9:30, my birthday. Oh, there you go. Awesome. That's awesome. So, not too long ago, you were celebrating a birthday. Hopefully it was a good one. Hopefully it was. Because for me, I do enjoy a good birthday. Whatever the hell that means, I don't know. I'm new to this world, guys. I'm new. Okay, so we have Virgo. I feel like there's a mercurial kind of energy too, so we could have something to do with, there could be knowledge, but there could be covering up of something. So if someone's wanting to make a rash judgment about us, I don't want you guys to think that's on you, because it's not. If someone wants to make a rash judgment, you know, that's on them. They're going to be itchy. They're the ones making the rash judgment. Horrible joke. But that's what I'm seeing here, is that there will be something, I feel like tomorrow, for people that resonated with pile 3, there's going to be something here where if someone's going to want to misunderstand you, and if you try to correct them, it's going to add more fuel to the fire. If someone wants to see you in a certain way, kind of either walk away or do whatever it is you feel like you need to do, but correcting them if they want to see you that way is just can sort of put us deeper in. It can sort of put us deeper in. Hey Amber, how are you doing? It was a good birthday. Awesome. Awesome. I am a 428 one myself on the birthday. And yeah, it was fun. It was fun. When you hit a certain age, your birthdays kind of all blend together. I think that age for me was 5, so you know it's been a lot of birthdays. Been a lot of birthdays. The tingle though is interesting. I'm wondering if some of you are dealing with communication with what you would call, maybe some of you call it your conscience, or communication with something to me it feels like it's more of the subconscious, but it can also be something here where I feel like there's communication that's coming through to us, and maybe we call it spirit, maybe we call it, right here I have tingles written down, but to me, whenever people use tingles, I always feel like it's a very vague term for how spirit or how source connection can communicate with us. And so tingle and then value. So someone, okay, here's one here. If someone is in our friend circle and we feel like something's off with that person, but we can't quite think what it is, but it just feels like something's off, listen to that vibe. Have that be something that you're like, okay, because we don't owe anything to anyone, and I want you guys to listen to your own intuition, because it's usually pretty spot on, right? But that's what I'm seeing here. So absolutely true. Judgments are personal projections, rarely of truth, and oftentimes ignorant in content. Yes. Awesome. Always listen to it. Perfect. So swift energy too. So I had the word swift come in, and it was almost written in like, I felt like it was almost written in cursive, and it was written really fast. So having the word swift come in, written in cursive, means that I feel like if we learn how to sidestep these kinds of situations where other people are casting their judgments on us, we're going to be just fine. Don't try to correct people that want to misunderstand you. It may feel like that's what we want to do, but ultimately that's our egos getting the better of us. We're trying to justify our ego. We're trying to say, no, I'm not like that. No, I'm not. And it comes off as us being desperate, trying to gain their approval. And we don't need it. We don't need their approval. We need our approval. Before you didn't listen to it, but now you know better. And generally speaking, that's exactly how it goes. Is that we don't listen, and then all of a sudden we're held hostage by it. And it says, now listen here. You listen to me very well. I'm trying to protect your ass. But you keep doing weird shit, and I can't stay here if you keep doing that. Okay? So always remember, it's trying to protect your ass. Okay. So hey, okay. Hope I didn't say this right. Preeti Lamba. I don't know how to say that. It's $10 a question that I do. So if you feel like you can do $10 a question, we can absolutely do that. Get you some detailed info. If not, though, I understand. Papa squat, whatever that means, and enjoy the show. That is this, whatever this is. Okay. All right. So let's move on here. I'm gonna do the next card over. So be aware of swiftly moving energy, and ultimately have it be something where we don't. Hold on here. What does Lori say? Lori says, definitely we don't need to know why we feel how we feel. The answer will quickly show itself. People will always eventually show you who they truly are. Patience, wait, yes, absolutely. I'm glad you enjoy it, Kimchi. I'm glad you enjoy that. If you want to do $10 for a reading, we can definitely do that. $10 a question. I don't do free readings. I'm sorry. That's awful to hear that, but I if I did it for you, I'd have to do it for everyone else too. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's move on to this next card reading here. There are other readers that do free readings, though. I don't know any of them personally, but there's tons of them on YouTube. Thank you, Amber. I appreciate that. Let me do this here. Let me write you down on this list. Okay. There we go. Perfect. All right, let's do this here. So we have yin yang. Yes, she is. She's definitely worthy of love, absolutely. Yin yang right here. And then we have the Empress in reverse. Okay? So, yin yang and the Empress in reverse, learning how to incorporate the shadow here. Oh, thank you, Radha. That's very kind of you. Thank you. That's very, very kind of you, Radha. I am sorry to hear that, Preeti. Again, hopefully I'm saying that right. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I just don't do the free readings, but wait a minute. Well, hold on a second. Okay, hold on one second, guys. Okay. We're reading 3 on this one. Oh, shoot, Manju. Okay, so I'm gonna read for Amber, and then Radha paid for Preeti. Hopefully I'm saying that right. So that's very, very kind of you, Radha. That's very, very kind of you. Okay, so I'm gonna read for Amber first, and then I'm gonna read for Preeti, and hopefully I'm saying that right. Yes, she's very kind. Very kind. Radha has always been a very, very good supporter on this channel. That's not the first time she's paid for someone else's reading. I'm pretty sure she's done it a few more times. So always been a very kind person. Okay, so I'm gonna take this down here. So yin yang, okay, and we'll talk about this here, and I'll mention some different cards. So the yin yang card that we have here is combining the duality. The Empress in reverse, this represents divine femininity, and this is also Taurus. Okay, so when this is in reverse next to yin and yang, it could be, well, let's talk about the Taurus sign, and let's talk about what happens when that is in reverse, because I know this very well, because some days are like that for me. I'm a Taurus sun sign, so I can understand this. Okay, so we could be looking at dealing with either we're being stubborn or someone around us is being stubborn. And when I say stubborn, I mean very, very stubborn. Like, to the point you're like, really? You're doing this? Almost to the point of like someone throwing a tantrum, or someone just being very, very upset and not being able to be reconciled in any way. That could be what we're talking about here when we're talking about pile number 3. Being empathic is going to be something that we need to work on, especially because I'm feeling like, it feels like tomorrow, okay? I'm just going to do an overall theme right here. It feels like tomorrow we're going to be tested on how kind we can be to other people. Okay, Radha's going to pass that, no problem. But, for the rest of us, we're going to have to try. And so I'm thinking it's going to be a question of character tomorrow. So some of us are going to be having our character challenged. We're going to be, maybe someone's going to call us a liar. Someone's going to say something. Someone's going to try to egg something out of us. And it's up to us on how we respond. If someone is being very aggravating and they're trying to get us to respond in a way that's negative, don't do it. Because a lot of times you're giving them the power. If someone can say something and make you upset, you're giving them the power to control you. And it takes time and it takes effort to learn that, especially when we're in the midst of it. But we need to learn who we give our power to. And generally, it should just be us, right? We should be able to respond and reply in the ways that we feel comfortable with. So that's what I'm seeing here. It's not going to be the end-all, be-all, but it's going to be something where I feel like a lot of you guys, especially if we're more timid, we might be called to stand up. We might be called to do something that might be uncomfortable. And it's not going to be the end of the world. Okay, we'll survive, but it's going to be something that's going to be difficult. Hello, can't read your name. Wish I could make this screen bigger, but it's kind of hard for me to do that. Actually, give me 1 second. Maybe I can move this screen closer. Let me do this here. Okay, Varsha. How are you doing, Varsha? Welcome to the channel. Okay. Don't be smacking my fingers. Well, that works more or less. Good, I'm glad to hear you're doing good. Sorry if I'm fiddling around here. That's gonna have to work. Okay, so Lori says, or I think I will allow whomever to bait my emotions. Ultimately, they have no power as to my response, if any. There you go. Yeah. And that's another thing, too. You give a response, okay? If someone's really trying to get a response out of you, it doesn't matter, and I want you guys to hear this. I've had to learn this the hard way, okay? If someone is trying to get you to respond to them through negative comments, through like egging you or provoking you, and then you respond, it does not matter. It does not matter what you say, because that person is already not listening to you. They just want to get the response, right? Okay, so Preeti, I'm gonna do Amber's reading first, and then I can do your reading, okay? So remember everyone else that's watching this, $10 a question. We will get you some answers though, and all right, so let's do this here. So, Varsha, I do ask for $10 a question, and then you would be the third on the list. If that's something you feel like doing, we can absolutely do that. Okay, so let's do this. So, Amber, you go ahead and ask your question, and we'll see what we can do here. You too, Lori. You too. Thank you again for stopping by, and you continue to bring up the vibration. I appreciate that, my friend. So you have a good one too. Okay. All right, let's see what Amber has to say here. She's probably typing her question right now. Okay. Alrighty, so in the meantime, while we're here, I'm gonna do this here. Okay, I hate to ask again, but the performance issues with my person aren't improving. What is the problem? Okay, so let's look. I feel like, well, let's look here. I'll draw some cards and we'll see what the problem is. But psychically, I feel like it feels like something happened in the past. And I think we've talked about this before with this person. But something has happened, or the person feels like the person feels emasculated in some way. I'm not sure. Not that you're doing it, Amber, but okay, yeah. You tried initiating a conversation, he blew me off and acted like all is well. And I can understand where that would be frustrating, right? I definitely understand that. Especially when we're talking about a, shall we say, sensitive issue. So let's see what's going on here. Okay, let's do 2 more shuffles. Let's see what we can come up with here. 2 more shuffles. There we go. Okay, so let's see. What is the problem with the performance issues for who Amber is currently seeing? Or, yeah. Okay, so let's do this. Let's look at these cards. Okay. Okay, we have the Healer of the Ages in reverse. Okay. Then we have Cornucopia in reverse. So there's something in this guy's psyche, and here's the part that's not the fun part. But there's something in his psyche where this person doesn't feel like they're good enough. I don't know if the person has perfectionistic tendencies, but I'm feeling like there's something here where they're not feeling like they're good enough, or they feel like they could always be doing better, or maybe they feel guilty for resting or taking a break. It could be something along the lines of that. And also it feels... So we've talked about his work as an engineer, but I feel like there's something here where this person has like... it's like a habitual tendency to like ruminate on things, and I don't feel like this guy knows how to process the emotion part to like move through it, and so this person's kind of stuck on something that's happened in the past, especially when I see these 2 in reverse. Healer of the Ages and Cornucopia in reverse. Both of those are in reverse, and I could almost see the Healer of the Ages in reverse being you, Amber, and the reason why I feel like it's in reverse is because you're trying to help, you're trying to reach out, but you're not getting anything in return, and so you're thinking, well, what the hell can I do then? What can I do? And ultimately, and this is the part that's hard, ultimately, it's up to him and you to work through that, if that's something you guys can work through. But if he's having issues in that capacity, a lot of times with not being able to perform, men can just be stuck in their heads. It can just be this psychosomatic, I think that's the right terminology, but it's like you're stuck in your head. There could be anxiety. There could be, maybe there was performance issues in the past with someone else and he was ridiculed for it. There can be a lot of things that link to this sort of stuff, and if he's not ready to talk about it or willing to talk about it, then that's up to you if you want to wait around or not, right? It's a sensitive issue to bring up regardless, but I would feel like you would bring it up in a very tasteful, very gentle kind of way. So it's up to him how he would receive that. A lot of men would take it as it's kind of like a threat thing, right? Even though there's nothing intended there, but a man's manhood is sacred. So this has now become a routine, though, not just a few times. Okay. Okay. So that's going to be you. Let's see. Let me look and see what else we can get here. I'm going to draw some more cards. Let's get some more specifics here. Because I could understand that could be frustrating. But ultimately, it's up to him to look into performing, or, maybe there's like ED treatment that the person could try. And maybe that could be an option. If it's that kind of difficult for them. He's also become more distant. I'm really confused. Okay. So there's, all right. And that could be another reason why he's become distant, because if you can't perform in that way. Okay, so let me put it this way. With physical touch, the culmination or the apex or the human touch eventually becomes, sexual contact. That eventually becomes something. And if this person is becoming more distant, that's their way of not being intimate, right? That's their way of not being intimate or having like sexual kind of things going on. If they feel like they're going to disappoint, then they'll become even more distant. So this person, I'm feeling like is on a few different levels, or they're self-sabotaging. Okay, and there's not a lot you can do there. There's a few options. I'm going to draw some cards here. There's a few options, or a couple options. One of them is you stay and you try and work it out, and maybe something happens, but he has to be willing to work with you. It can't be just you trying something and him blowing you off. He has to be willing to look into it as well. And the other one is just saying, toodaloo, if that's important to you, which obviously that's kind of a big thing in relationships. But it sounds to me like this guy gets in his own head and then he can't perform. So something happened there, and it sounds like he doesn't want to talk about it. So it's sort of like, what do I do? And there's not a lot you can do. Unfortunately, it's up to him and you to work it through, and he's not wanting to. So then I get these two cards in reverse as well. So I get yin yang in reverse and then appreciation in reverse. I don't sense anything like with this person's energy. I don't sense anything negative or bad, but the tendency to self-sabotage seems pretty up there. And you said he's an engineer. A lot of times, the smarter the person, the more they can beat themselves up in interesting ways, and that's kind of what I'm seeing here. So it's up to you, Amber, what you would want to do in this situation, because it's up to you how you will handle the situation. You can't make him handle it in any other way. And a lot of times men will think that when you bring up an issue like that, they'll think you're attacking them. It's fun, isn't it? Or like you said, he'll blow you off, but he won't exactly address the issue, right? And that's something that men have been taught from an early age, is that, we've got to be able to do at least one thing, and it's that. So that's what I'm seeing here. Well, that's the thing, Amber. You can't in that, right? I wish I could give you a different answer, but I feel like you've brought it up in a way that's gentle, or you've tried to. You have to understand when you're putting your neck out there and you're trying to bring up a very sensitive issue, you're putting yourself out there, and then when you're denied, that's not fun to experience either. You're trying to help, you're trying to find a resolution, but if they're not willing to meet you halfway, then there's not a lot on your end you can do. It's like let's flip the tables, right? Let's say you had trouble performing, like something was going on, right? I feel like you would want to work through the issue, talk about it with someone, have something happen. Do something. You would want to see what's going on. But for this person, it's easier for them to ignore it. It's easier for them to say everything's fine and just ignore it like nothing's happening. So it's how, sometimes that's just how people do things. I wish there was more I could tell you with that, but it has to be up to him to want to change. And I don't know, I don't have like anything I can necessarily reference that would be helpful, but this person has to want to find out a solution as well. But if he's acting like there's no issue, I can look at that. I have a feeling odds are, I'll look. Has this person talked about their performance problem with anybody? Let's look. Okay, let's do this here. Remember to like and subscribe, guys. I'd really appreciate it. So I get this, 4th chakra, Archangel Raphael. When I see this card, I'm wondering if he's confided in somebody about it. Maybe, I don't know if it's maybe a therapist. Thanks for the like, I appreciate that. I don't know if maybe it was a therapist, or maybe it was like something like that. I'm not really sure if this person even does therapy. When I see this, though, it looks like there's someone this person confided in to talk about this, but I don't know if there's any like resolution with that kind of confiding, so I'm not really sure. I would say, yeah, they've talked about it to some extent, but I don't know if there's anything here that says that it's been addressed in the proper way, I guess. But the fourth chakra Archangel Raphael, this is a heartfelt card. Obviously, it deals with the heart. So there's something here. I feel like there's been some sort of talk about it, but it's probably just easier for this person to. Is there someone else? Let's see. Is there someone else? Okay. I don't think there is. I get hostilities. I get hostilities in reverse. I don't think there's anybody else. I think that this person just is in their head. That's what I'm seeing. This person's just in their head a lot. It's hard for this person to be in the present moment and to enjoy the intimate aspects of the present moment. So I feel like this person's just running from something, and it's up to them to find out. And I've said this before, if you can help them and they want help from you, do it. But if not, Amber, I feel like what's going to happen is you're going to continually try to help. You're going to try to do something about the situation. And I feel like this person's not going to appreciate it. Because we even got appreciation in reverse. And so it's kind of up to you what you would feel would be the best thing. Because I don't know if he's going to be able to hear it from you the way you would want to. And I don't think there's any way you could kind of just casually slide that into a conversation. Like in the morning. So about last night, I don't see that being a situation where you can necessarily get that kind of resolution. And that's kind of a frustrating thing between men and women. I feel like women will look for the answers and solutions to problems that they have, and they'll try things and they'll do a bunch of different stuff. And even if it still doesn't work, they've tried a few different things. But for men, it's easier to just ignore, sweep under the rug, and then not really look at it. Because for a man, admitting there's a problem in the first place, that's admitting there's weakness, there's vulnerability. And I feel like this person has this kind of sense of energy. I feel like they can be kind, they can be sensitive, but they can't quite let people into the level of getting past this kind of, not macho-ness, I wouldn't say macho-ness, but getting past this kind of strong energy. They don't want to appear weak, and so they have to be strong in some way, shape, or form. So that's kind of what I'm feeling here, and they can't let go of that persona, even in intimate situations, especially in intimate situations. So ultimately, Amber, it's up to you, but I would say this, you're probably, I'll do this will be the last one we look at here. I'll do one more card, and I'll say this. So what would be the outcome if Amber earnestly and honestly brought up the issue? What would be the outcome? Because at this point, Amber, I guess there's actually 3 ways it could go. But let me shuffle these, and then I'll say what those are. Or 4 ways, I guess it could. Okay, so anyway, let's get to that. So what would happen if Amber brought this up to the person she's currently involved with, and she brought it up honestly? How would this person react? Let's look at that. Okay, so here's what we have here. This is good right here. So we have Angel of Balance and Door to Personal Healing and Happiness. So when I see these 2 cards right here, I'm thinking it's going to be, it might be a tough situation. But right now, here's my thoughts on it, Amber. Right now, things aren't working in that way. And I feel like you need that. Most people in a relationship would need that kind of um, physicality, that kind of intimacy, because it's the ultimate expression of like physical love, so to speak. And I'm feeling like if that's important to you, bring this up and see how the person responds, because it's not working right now. It's not working right now. If you want to, bring it up, see how the person responds, because it's not working right now anyway. Um, it could be something that makes him self conscious, it could be something like that. But if you feel like you can bring it up in some way, um, you can try. It's not that it's your responsibility, because it's not. But if you want this to work, if you want this to be something where um, it would work, this is a good opportunity to see how this person reacts to something that's a pretty tender subject, right? So you could see how they would react if you really tried to pressure them into talking about it, right? And in a way that's in a healing sense, in a way that's in like a very calm and healing way, which is how I would see you doing that anyway. So it's not, like I said, there's like four ways it can go. Okay, the first way is you just kind of cut it off here and you say I'm done. The second way is that you talk with him about it and he blows it off, acts like it's nothing, and continues to go on about his day like nothing happened. The third way is you talk about it with him, he gets very, very mad, but then you're still in a relationship in some capacity, but there's a lot of anger, there could be some resentment. But then the fourth way would be he hears what you have to say and he understands that you're trying to look out for his best interest, and then he can try to move past it with you, right? Having you two working together on a problem that to him seems ultimately embarrassing could actually be very empowering, but he has to be willing to want to work on it. That's the whole thing, is that he has to be willing to want to let people in, so to speak. Hopefully, hopefully that helps, Amber. It's not some of this stuff. It's just not. It's not up to us, and it feels like it's a shame sometimes. But a lot of what we go through in life, it's just not up to us, especially when it comes to other people. Okay. So I'm going to be right back, guys. But Preeti, hopefully I'm saying it right. I'm going to come right back, and I know your question, so I'll just be right back. Hold on, guys. Hold on one second. Okay, you're there. You're welcome, Amber. You're welcome. Thank you for stopping by and helping to support the channel. I appreciate that. Okay, so let me go back up and read here. Okay, so you said you're wondering. Okay. So let's look. Will we reconcile, or will you and him reconcile? So let's do that. Hold on. going to use these cards here. Okay, these are the Wild Unknown Tarot cards. I'm going to use these. I feel like these will maybe be a bit more specific. So let's see what we can come up with. Alrighty. Okay, I am in no contact situation since more than a month. Okay. Thanks for giving me extra info. That does help. In fact, the more standoffish we are with our psychics and tarot friends, it makes it a lot harder to read. It's interesting how that works, isn't it? Okay. So let's look here. So I'm going to do this one. Will you reconcile with... I don't know if you ever said the name. Not that it matters. You don't need to say the name. But will you reconcile with this person? Let's see. I'm going to draw one more card here, and then I'll show you the cards. Hold on. That's fascinating. Kartik Kolti. I'm saying that right. So 8. Okay, I figured that was his name. So we have 8 of Pentacles, and then we have the Justice card, which is another 8. So this is telling me right here, because when I look at this card, it's like both of you together. I do feel there can be a reconciliation. I do feel that there can be a coming together. But I'm wondering, the missed time, like you haven't talked for a month, you're not sure what's going on, that can actually be kind of a hurdle in itself to deal with in a relationship, especially if the person feels like they ghosted you or they're just gone, right? I feel like there could be a reconciliation, though. It would just take... Let me move this over. It's just going to take some time right here. And this is an interesting part. During this time that we're in no contact with this person, I'm feeling like they're going to circle around, they're going to come back, but you will have time, possibly, I'm feeling like it's going to be more than 5 months. It might be a little bit sooner, it might be a little bit later, but I'm feeling like between 4 months to 6 months, or 4 months to half a year, right? That's kind of what I'm feeling. So, let's see, April to June. Possibly something could happen around that time. But if you're feeling like this person can devastate you the way it sounds like they're able to, it's important to realize if we want to connect with them again or not, right? Like, if this person has this kind of power over you and they just up and leave, who's to say they wouldn't do it again, necessarily? But regardless, let's look at the other question here. So you said... okay. Does he miss you? Let's look at that one and see. Let's look at this. Does Kartik miss Preeti? Or Preti, I'm not sure. Let's see here. So this one right here, I get the 5 of Swords, okay? This could be mentally, maybe this person isn't quite right in their way of thinking, right? The rationality could go out the window. That can absolutely be something here. But when I see 9 of Cups in reverse, I'm wondering, hey, T. Tara, I do charge $10 a question, so if that feels like something you can do, we can absolutely do that. I do like the face, though. That's a cute face. It's definitely the kind of face I do all the time. You would be the next one up on the list, though. I just don't do free questions, so. Um, awesome. I'm glad you liked and subscribed. Hopefully you like the vibe on the channel. Let's see here. So, these two cards, as I was saying. These two cards right here, I'm not feeling like, honestly speaking, I'm not feeling like he's feeling the same way you are. I don't know exactly what happened in this situation, but if there's a pulling away, that can be something that can be tricky to deal with. But something about this right now, I'm not feeling this person is maybe emotionally evolved enough to feel kind of what's happened, or if they've done anything like that, if they've done any kind of emotional work. But I do feel misunderstanding. Is there maybe? Let's look. I do feel, regardless, that the person will come back, because he didn't tell me the real reason for breakup. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to say this, everybody. For everyone tuning in right now, I do charge $10 a question. I don't do free readings, but I appreciate you guys stopping by. And a like and sub would be great if you guys like my style. I'm working with someone right now. You can see if this is something you would also like to do. But thank you guys so much for watching here. Okay, let's see here. Is there a misunderstanding? Let's see what we can come up with here. Was there a misunderstanding between BT and Kartik? Okay, so I get these two cards right here. I get Ace of Pentacles in reverse, and then I get Temperance in reverse. So Temperance is Sagittarius, primarily. It's like Sagittarian energy. So Ace of Pentacles in reverse would be refusing to start over something new. There could be a misunderstanding here, but to me it feels more like... I'm wondering if it feels more like a cowardly thing. So this person just leaves and they don't tell you why they left, right? You can correct me if I'm wrong. Did this person message you? You said you haven't talked in a month, but did they like message you that you're broken up? Did they say that you broke up in person? Like, what happened in this kind of situation here? I do, regardless of what happened in the situation, I do feel this person's going to reach out again. It's just going to take some time. But he called you on the 20th of October. Okay. Okay, so it's been a minute. That he wanted to break up. Okay. Then after that, we were in no contact. So he just called and said, okay, all right. So then I'm going to say this. I do feel he's going to come back. I do feel he's going to kind of circle around, come back. But it's up to you if you want to have this person in your life. It sounds to me like there's some cowardly stuff going on here. If someone is just going to leave and not really say what's going on. Hey there, hello, Kalpana. Hopefully I'm saying that right. But yeah, it's up to you to decide what you want to do. What I was feeling, because I got Ace of Pentacles in reverse and Temperance in reverse, I'm not feeling there was a misunderstanding on his part. I'm feeling that this person just doesn't have that emotional capacity. It feels like something's missing in the emotional part of his brain. The breakup was highly unexpected. See, and that's another thing too. So you talked lovingly, things were going well, and this person broke up and they didn't give you any context, right? And then they went no contact. So that's leaving you in a state where you're feeling confused and lost, and maybe you're sitting here thinking like you did something wrong. I'm not feeling that you did. I'm feeling what happened. Honestly, I'm feeling what happened was that you're in a situation where you can understand yourself in an emotional way and you can convey your emotions to other people to some extent, right? I don't get that this person can. So instead, they run. Something's going on here, and they took a route where there's no contact. And when there's no contact, this person then has no consequences, right? Unless you run into them in person. But if there's no contact, there's no consequences for this person's actions. So I feel like a lot of what's going on here is it's from a cowardly person. And I feel like you would deserve better than that, right? Because that's not right that someone would. It's okay if people break up, right? That happens, but you should understand why. There should be like a talk. There should be something going on here instead of there just being this kind of no contact, childish bullshit nonsense. Pardon my French there, but that's what I'm seeing here. And I'm sorry that this is affecting you, right? You don't need to have this in your life. There's so much going on in the world right now. People don't need to go through this. But hopefully, in a way, it teaches you it teaches you to protect your own heart. Not in a way where we're cold, but in a way where we can allow ourselves to love and understand that sometimes we're going to get hurt, but eventually the right kind of person comes in. And I don't feel like this person's the right one. Does he love me now? Because he used to love me a lot. Well, let's do one more card here and see kind of what's coming up here. I will say this though, just so that hopefully this gives you some sort of comfort, right? Okay, let me put it this way. I feel like you're a good person, okay? Preeti, again, hopefully I'm saying that right. I feel like you're a good person, and I feel like good people will see the best in other people. They'll automatically assume people are very good and very kind, and that's what I'm feeling here. And so sometimes we tend to put everything on the table, emotions, everything else. And so it just depends. I feel like in this relationship that you were more invested in him than he was in you. And the reason I'm saying that is because could you imagine doing this? Preeti, could you imagine what's happened to you? Could you imagine doing that to somebody? I'm going to shuffle a couple more times. Okay, so let's look at this. See, you couldn't do that to somebody. You couldn't do that to somebody, and that's because you're a good person. Okay, you wouldn't do that to somebody because what happens when you do that to somebody? They will sit there and they will think over and over and over again, did I do something wrong? Did I do something wrong? But there's no closure. There's no closure, so the person is left forever thinking, did I do something wrong? That, in a way, that leaves a scar on our heart in some way. That leaves an emotional impact. And so his emotions, I get the let's see, Wheel of Fortune in reverse. This is someone who is possibly stuck in a way of thinking that is, okay, let me put it this way. This is a sign of someone who is stuck. I feel like this person's energy is very stuck. This person's emotional intelligence is not quite there. Because again, a nice person, a good person wouldn't just do this. They would explain what's going on. Breaking up is okay. Explain what's going on and explain, at least do that. At least give you the benefit of telling you, hey, it wasn't you. There's this. That would be, to me, the ultimate way to do it. But he didn't give you that kind of connection. So that's what I'm feeling here. That's what I'm feeling is that I honestly feel like you deserve better and that this person, I understand it hurts now. I want you to feel. I want you to feel everything that you can from this. I know it hurts. It's not fun to feel it, but you have something that he doesn't. You can feel this stuff and eventually move on into something else. This other person is going to be stunted, right? I do feel this person's going to come back, but you're going to have in the back of your mind, if this person comes back and you take them back, you're going to be having this feeling in the thought in the back of your mind where you're thinking, are they just going to leave again? You know, if they can do it once, what's to stop them from doing it again? That's kind of the thing where I'm coming from. But again, April, June next year, I do feel there could be a reconciliation. So if that's what you want to do, that's your prerogative. But I feel like you deserve better, honestly. And hi, Luz Love. I do charge $10 a question. I don't do any free readings, but if you want, we can do the $10 a question. There's other people that do the free questions though on YouTube. I feel like I'm worth more than free, so I don't do the free questions. Okay, guys, remember to like and subscribe if you wouldn't mind. And yeah. So Preeti, do you feel like that helps you in some way? I know what you're going through. It can be like a horrendous feeling. It can be very, very strong. Any actions do you have to take? Okay, so when you're asking any actions that you have to take, any actions that you have to take towards what? I feel like it's going to be him. Okay, that's what we're talking about here. So I feel like it's going to be him coming back into your life. I don't feel like it's going to be the other way around. I have a feeling this person wouldn't respond if you tried to reach out to them in a favorable way, but if they try to come back into your life, that's kind of what I'm feeling, is it's going to be them trying to come back into your life. Yeah, 4 to 6 months is what I'm seeing here. But then you decide if it's something you even want to entertain, because sometimes, you know, in this situation, I would basically say to hell with you, because that's not right. But again, you're not me. You live your life the way you want to. That's just how I would do it. Okay, so all right. Hopefully that helps, Preeti. So. Well, at least you're able to let out your emotions, you know? The fact that you're crying, he was your first. I can understand that, right? You're very welcome. The fact that you're crying, though, means that you have a lot of love to give, and it may hurt right now, but that's a really good attribute to have, is that you love with your whole heart, right? That's a really good thing to have. I don't want you to lose that. Sometimes things can happen that make us bitter, but I do feel like there's a lot there. And you were invested, and you're someone who gives your all in relationships, and that's somewhat rare in the world. And so I want you to take that and realize that that's a special thing, even if right now it doesn't feel the best. Okay, so $10 a reading. We can do this, guys, if you want to. If not, we'll just start talking about some cards here, because I think we can do that. Okay, so let me move this over here. All right. Give me a second. Okay, so I'm going to start looking at some cards here. Just going to be doing some readings here, some different stuff. Maybe what we could do instead is do a little bit of energy work. A little bit of back and forth. Is anyone wanting to do a little bit of energy work here? This would be free of charge. This is just something that maybe this can help you guys with your day, or maybe help you guys with certain things that are going on. If you guys want to, we can do that. That's going to be maybe a 5-6 minute just focusing on some energy here. You guys let me know. And I'm going to go. I'll be back. I will be right back. But I'm going to go just for a second, and I'm coming right back. So I'll leave this running. You guys let me know if you want to do some energy stuff. I am back, everyone. Thank you for waiting. I appreciate that. Well, all right. So we'll do a little bit of energy work here. Actually, that kind of takes up a lot of space, doesn't it? I'll move that over here. Alrighty. So let's move this here. Take one more drink here. And thank you guys for the likes and subscribes already. We're doing good. We're doing really good on those, and I appreciate that, you guys. It shows me you appreciate me too, and so I'm gonna try and do right by you guys. All right. Okay, so this will be me kind of giving back here. This is free, so this is just gonna be us focusing on some healing stuff. I may get some psychic impressions. It really just depends. If we get psychic impressions, that's kind of a bonus. But I'm only going to say something if I feel like it applies to the group here. I'm just going to take this and I'm going to be doing some. There we go. I'm just going to have this be doing some scribbling in case something does come up. Okay. Alrighty. So let's take this to the side. And we're just going to be focusing on doing like a basic chakra cleanse. Okay? And we'll talk about each one of these that we're going to be doing. Crystals. Each one of these crystals represents something else. And I have this very cute little jar that I got. It holds a bunch of these stones inside of it. Hey, Raven, how's it? Yeah, it's been a minute. It has been a minute. How are you doing? Did you get everything squared away in your mom's shop? I think that's what you were doing last time. I can't remember for sure. Oh, there we go. There we go. It's getting comfortable, guys. It's getting comfortable. Let's see. I'm going to move this one right over here. So I'll show you some of these. And then I'll kind of tell you, oh, awesome. Thanks for the like. I appreciate the likes, guys, and subscriptions. We're doing really good tonight, so it's making me feel very good. Very, very good. Okay, so we've got this one here. Oh, another like. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, Francis. Hopefully I'm saying that. Or Francis. I don't know how to say your name. Hello. Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by, guys. Sunny Joe, how are you doing? Okay, maybe we'll hold off doing the energy here for just a second. See, but I said it two ways. So, Francis or... okay. I'm horrible with names, you guys. Thank you for sticking around, even though I'm going to pronounce names weird. The first one, Francis. Okay. Okay. I'm good, yes. My friend and her family helped me get everything moved out. God, it's a miracle. Awesome. I'm glad you're able to do that and move forward with that, because I can only imagine that was a process, right? That was something that was a little bit difficult to deal with. Well, more than a little bit difficult. But that's good to hear that you're doing well too. I think it's been a couple. So anyone that's watching now, it's $10 a question, okay? But I will spend time on the question. We'll get you some accurate answers. But yeah, I don't do free questions. I do appreciate you guys coming in here though, and you guys can feel free to chat and do all that if that's something you want to do. But I'm going to take another drink here. I'll actually explain these a little bit. And you guys in the chat can feel free to say stuff here, but okay, so we have got, like I said, this one here. This is the root chakra right here. I mean, it's not the root chakra, but it corresponds to the root chakra. So this is red in color, okay? This one's kind of, it's hard for you guys to see it on camera because the way the light is hitting it, it's making it super bright. Or maybe my eyes are super dim. That'd be a mind twister, wouldn't it? Anyway, but this right here, the red represents earth. It represents being rooted. It represents identity, security, environmental, well, security, safety would be a good one for it. And we generally learn about the first chakra in an intuitive way. The way that we learn about these chakras is it's all intuitive, right? This one here, though, when we're first born coming into the world, I can't remember what ages it's from, but when we're first born coming into this world, this chakra helps us to establish identity, security, and all that kind of stuff. So sometimes if we have misalignments in certain areas, it could be that certain things happened when we were a certain age, right? And because of that, if our root chakra is blocked, the rest of ourselves is going to be skewed. So that's something that we can look at too. Okay, so then we have this chakra here, or this one. This is yellow in color, okay? This one here is the sacral chakra, which is water, which deals with choice. So you can think of it kind of like this, like a diverging stream. Sometimes when the water is going down a certain path, there's like a fork in the road. The water doesn't have to make a choice, though. If there's a fork in a river, it kind of just says, I'm going to go this way and I'm going to go this way. But us humans, we don't get so lucky. We have to make a choice, and we have to see what that choice will bring us. And sometimes, if this one is blocked, we can have trouble in a sexual way, right? That can be something. We can have trouble expressing ourselves. We can have trouble making choices, so we can be incredibly indecisive. We can be very like, I don't know if I want to do that. That's the kind of energy. If you guys have ever dealt with indecisive people, I don't know whether I like them or not, but no, see, that's a joke. I'm being indecisive. But it's annoying. It's annoying. They mean well. Indecisiveness is annoying, though. So this one right here deals with making choices, okay? And it's sort of that exploration center, I guess you could say. It's like that curiosity of life would be this one right here, the zest for it. And like I said, it represents water. Now then, we have this one, okay? This is the solar plexus chakra, okay? So, sometimes I get these mixed up because the color and they both start with S, but sacral, solar plexus. Orange is sacral, yellow is solar plexus, okay? So when we're talking about this one, I mean, it's pretty yellow. It's hard to see it on camera, but this one right here represents fire. It represents that feeling inside of us that is us attaining our purpose, us chasing after what we want, and us not being afraid to get a little messy sometimes. Like, we just go for it. And it represents willpower. I feel like all your chakras are blocked. Okay, that can be kind of tricky to work with, but generally speaking, in my opinion, right, I feel like the chakras, when we've removed a blockage from one, it makes it so the other ones flow a little bit better. But if we're feeling like all the chakras are blocked, we may need to look into that. I mean, it may need to be something we do. Boy, I'm having tongue twister hard times right now. I don't know what I'm saying, but there you go. Okay, so this one is fire, willpower. So what would this also mean? So we have the first chakra representing identity, security, safety, right, in our environment. Generally, the first chakra is more environmentally based, where we're feeling safe in our environment. Generally, it's from a very young age. It's established after we're born, okay? Then the second chakra, the sacral chakra, deals with expression, and this can be sexual expression, this can be dancing, this can be anything, any number of things. If we're a very muted person, but we want to be out there, we want to be doing more, but we're feeling too shy, we're feeling too timid, that can be a block in the second chakra. Third chakra here, and also it deals with choices, the second chakra. Third chakra here is willpower, okay? So we take the choices from the second chakra, we bring it up into the third chakra, and what that means is that we're someone who makes choices and we stick with them. We don't flip-flop around, right? There's being open-minded, which is a great thing to be, but if we're flip-flopping from being this way or this way or this way or this way constantly, and we're not quite finding anything that we can say we agree with 100%, it's kind of like we keep flip-flopping, that can be an issue here where we're making choices, we're having a hard time sticking with them. So it's very much like being indecisive. However, this is a little more irritating because we're making a decision, but then we're deciding to take it back and make another decision. And then we're deciding, and that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about here. It would be the equivalent of me and my friends want to go out to a restaurant. Okay, we're going to go here. Meet us here at 8. Okay, as soon as it gets to 7:30, you say, actually, no, meet us at the other place. But that other person's already on their way to the other restaurant. So it's that kind of energy, right? All right, so then we have this one. Remember to like and subscribe, guys, if you wouldn't mind. I would appreciate it. I do this, so it's $10 a question. We've established that. We can do energy work for $10 too, but we can also learn psychic stuff. I teach that for free. I teach how to access psychic abilities, what you can do with them, how to strengthen them, stuff like that. So if that's something you guys are interested in, stick around. I talk about that stuff all the time, and that stuff's the free stuff. So this one right here is the heart chakra, all right? So as the name implies, it's right here. No, it's the heart. It's the heart. Okay, so this one right here is a very, very sacred connection. This one is air, and it deals with letting go. So where the third chakra is about holding on to something through force and taking an offensive approach and going after things, the fourth chakra is about letting things come to us, learning to let go, and learning that the tighter we hold on to a bird in our hand, we're going to end up killing that bird, right? Sometimes it's important to let go. In fact, most times in life, letting go, it doesn't become just something we should do. It becomes something that's a necessity because we need to learn to let go because nothing is permanent, right? Everything in this reality is borrowed, but we tend to get attached. We tend to get very attached. And so it becomes hard to let things go because we think, oh, well, that was supposed to be mine forever, but sometimes things are not meant to be. And that's where we have to learn how to let go. And that takes a lot of practice, okay? I'm probably going to be learning that to the day I die. And then as I'm on my deathbed, I'm going to have a hard time letting go then. So it's going to be a situation for me. So wish me luck. But that's what I'm seeing here. All right. So then we have this chakra here. And generally speaking as well, the heart deals with empathy. Thank you for the like. I appreciate that. The heart deals with empathy and it deals with that kind of center. Sometimes if our chakra is like overactive, our heart chakra is overactive, we tend to be in situations where other people can take advantage of us. We can be naive to the world. We can see things in a way that is skewed and other people can manipulate us easily. A lot of times when we're just having a very flowing, very open heart chakra, but it's not overactive, we're just looking at being able to care for people. We're looking at being able to be there when people need us. We're looking at kind of just understanding the emotional way that people are and really realizing that it's not forever if someone is sad or upset. Emotions pass. We learn to let things go. Okay. So then we have this one. This right here is the throat chakra. Okay. Throat chakra deals with communication, but also, just like an ear, nose, and throat doctor, this is the ear, nose, and throat chakra. Okay. Making a joke there. I don't know those other things. But in my opinion, right, the throat chakra, okay, this is a blue in color, and this is like a turquoise that this one represents. Thank you for the like. I appreciate that, guys. Remember to subscribe too. Something good will happen if we get to 1 billion subscribers. So something we can try. But we have this one right here, the throat chakra. This deals with communication, speaking your truth, talking in an honest and open way. Basically, it's like this. If you can imagine you speaking your truth, but in a way that isn't offensive to other people, like if you were looking at someone, you said, listen here, you little shit, and then you said your truth, we're kind of missing the mark there. We need to say our truth in a way that other people can feel comfortable in hearing it. Like, we don't bring people down, but we say what's going on, right? And if someone's being disrespectful, someone's being mean, someone's being this, call them out on it. Don't call them names. Just be like, I don't appreciate that, this, that, or the other. It's learning to set boundaries as well. But another thing that this deals with, the throat chakra, is it deals with being able to hear things from people as well. Can we understand another person's point of view of truth and not attack it, right? Let's say someone has a different religious belief than we do, right? If they're being respectful with us, we can be respectful with them. Even if the beliefs are different, even if things are different, okay? You believe in the flying spaghetti monster, I don't give a shit. But even if things are different, we learn that those differences are kind of what add to the spice of life, so to speak. So when we're open, it just means that we're open to ideas, we're adaptable, we're open to hearing new things, we're open to trying new things, and we're open to listening to what others have to say, as well as saying when something isn't right for us. We don't hold things in, we say our truth. And at first, that's a hard one. That's a really hard one because a lot of people that have a blocked throat chakra have been perfectionists and people pleasers their whole lives. And so this one right here, this can almost feel threatening. This right here can feel like a threatening thing to declare that you have power. My God, can you imagine? Can you imagine such a thing? So-and-so thinks they're a person. You know, that's what this is, right? We all deserve to talk about how we feel, what we're feeling, when we're feeling it. We deserve to talk about that. But if we have people around that listen and actually value that, that's another thing entirely, okay? Some people, they deserve this. Some people, they deserve to hear the truth from you. Other people don't. And the people that don't deserve to hear your truth are the ones that were never there for you in the first place. The ones that criticize us, the ones that make us feel lesser than constantly. Those people, just get rid of them if you can. They don't deserve to hear our truth because they don't care. They don't care anyway. So this right here, when it's open, we're communicators. We're able to communicate things. We're able to take the mind thoughts into mouth words, and that's going to help the flow. All right, so let's move on to this one. Okay, this is an amethyst, and this is the third eye chakra. Third eye chakra, this is interesting. This is an interesting one. All of them are interesting, but to me, the third eye is one that I really find fascinating. So this one deals with intuitive ability. I feel like everyone knows that. In fact, if there was a famous chakra, it's the third eye chakra. It's always the one people are talking about. Here's how to open your third eye chakra. Put peanut butter on your feet. It's just going to open right now. This one right here, this is about seeing through illusion, okay, the Maya, the illusionary world, seeing through what is here. A lot of the time we get caught up in the reality that is all around us, and we think that this is it. This is all there is. There's nothing else. And when we start thinking that way, our reality becomes smaller and smaller and smaller, and then we become very serious and very rigid in this play called life. We feel like we can never change our character. We can never go backstage and change our clothes. We feel like we're stuck as this character or this avatar forever, and there's no sense of play. There's no sense of adaptability. This right here allows us to see. When we have the third eye open, supposedly, it allows us to see. All right? I say supposedly because I believe the chakras are just kind of there. If they're open, they're closed, whatever, but when your third eye is being used or utilized, if someone was lying to you or someone wasn't telling the truth, you would have a much, much easier way to be like, something feels off, okay? And if any of you have ever had that feeling where you're talking to somebody and you, like, their face doesn't give it away, their tone doesn't give it away, like, and their body language is fine, but you still feel like something's wrong, you're like, something's off, something's really off, I just can't pinpoint what it is. Listen to that, because sometimes that's you trying to see through that. Even if it's not a conscious thing, that's something a lot of people can do. We can tap into those senses. Listen to your intuition, okay? Or else you're going to be into wishing that you did, okay? So that's going to be something that we can use and utilize here. So then, and it obviously the third eye deals with psychic ability. It deals with some forms of mediumship and some. Okay, here we go. I like that sound. It's a nice sound. Actually, I never put that in. Hold on one second, you guys. Let me grab this. This should make the audio sound a little better. I can get it in there. There we go. the audio sound a little bit better. Phone into my chakra. Okay, and this chakra is interesting because it's kind of like, I don't know if you could even call it a chakra necessarily, because what this chakra is the accumulation or the culmination of all the other chakras. So it in itself, I guess it's a chakra, but it's kind of like it has to have the other ones to operate. But I suppose the other chakras do too. Anyway, so we have the crown chakra right here. Okay, this one is usually represented as white. I'm using a clear quartz crystal right here, obviously in its natural form, because everyone knows you can find round clear quartz. Anyway, this one right here has been polished and what do they call it? I think they call it just polishing. But this one right here deals with all the other chakras kind of combined and working in unison. When all of our other chakras are combined and working, we can then access the more divine realm, so to speak. Whatever you want to call that, we can access information, we can utilize that information from a higher source. So people that have, like musicians, for instance, that have a high amount of inspiration and creativity, these people can be aligned, like their chakras can be in full alignment because they're able to express something through themselves that other people just aren't able to. And it's because they're in touch with something that's much greater than what we could think. It's sort of like if you imagined if the universe had a soul, that's kind of what I'm talking about here. It's like being in touch with that. It's being in touch with that kind of energy. And some people are able to slip into that state more easily. Some people it takes practice. I do believe everyone can learn how to harness these different abilities, but that's just something that it takes time. Do you guys have any questions on this topic? Wondering about chakras or psychic ability or anything like that? I'll take a drink here. Oh, okay. I'm gonna look at something here on this screen really quick. I have my chat messages over here on the left-hand side, so all of them were fascinating, Rada. Okay, perfect. Perfect. It's I don't know if you were here when I was talking about the enlightened human experience. I can't remember. Were you here for that talk Friday? I think it was. It was like towards the end of my Friday session. I don't know if you saw that or if you. Yeah, Rada, I don't know if you saw that or not. But that was something where we were talking about the enlightened human. Okay, the enlightened human is a fascinating subject. Uh, Definitely one of those things where I think only a very, very small percentage of us will ever even come close to understanding what that means. And okay, so you were there. Okay. But so part of it is the Merkaba, which we talked about a little bit. The Merkaba is the. Hold on 1 second, Kim J. It's okay, you guys. If you feel like I've answered a question before, still ask me again. Maybe I can say it in a different way. I want to do this. I want to teach. I want to do this. So questions are kind of my bread and butter, right? So hold on, Kim J. I'll be right back. Okay. So there's a quick way to unblock them would be. I mean that sounds like a very interesting concept. I wish it worked in a quick way. It's more like depending on what chakra we feel like is blocked or what we need to work on, it's kind of like we need to incorporate more of that energy into our life. I believe humans learn through a process of kind of like absorption, right? Because in the I have a book back here. It talks about the Siddhis, right? Siddhis. Ow, that hurt. But it talks about the Siddhis, and basically, psychic perfections is what it's called, and it's the absorption of something through the human kind of soul mind, I guess, if you could call it something like that. It's the ability to understand the cosmos in some way, shape, or form, but it's through these kinds of absorptions. So you need to surround yourself with those kinds of energies if we want to unblock our chakras. I really do believe there's a lot of spiritual retreats and things like that, and I think the main reason why some of those things can work some of the times is because people are there and there's like an energy that's already there that's open to that kind of feeling of unblocking chakras, opening things up. But primarily, depending on what chakra, what do you feel, Kim J? What chakra would you be asking about specifically, or is it kind of like just whatever chakra? Because we can learn a lot, I do believe. Hey, Mad Hurry, Mad Huri. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Remember to like and subscribe too, you guys, if you wouldn't mind. I'd appreciate it. These crystals in a jar would appreciate it. My cards would appreciate it. I have a cat right over here. There's right now I'm just doing some talking. Thank you for the likes, guys. I appreciate that so much. Right now I'm just doing some talking and just focusing on that. I do charge $10 for a question, or $10 for some energy work that we can do. But I can do some chakra stuff too if that's something you guys are wanting to do. But you said, so Kim J, I feel blocked and fatigued all the time. Thank you, Richa, for subscribing. I appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Um, like I said, $10 a question. I don't do free readings. I personally feel like I'm worth more than that, than free. So if you guys want to, we can do that. If not, I can understand. But okay, so if you're feeling fatigued, okay, blocked and fatigued all the time, there can be a few reasons for that. The chakras, though, can be one of the reasons. It just depends on what we're feeling, or I guess in this case, not feeling, right? Hold on, let me take a drink here. Ah. So, Kim J, I feel blocked and fatigued. So, Mad Huri, it's $10 a question. So there's no list, but there is $10 a question. I don't do free questions. So the best thing we can do, in my opinion, is allow ourselves to be open to new ways of thinking. That can help us with our chakras. Anything we can do to be adaptable can help us. Learning new things can help us to feel more like energized, more energetic. Some of it can deal with, some of it can be chakra based, some of it can be diet based. So depending on what we're eating, that can also be a factor too in how we're feeling, right? Um, I ended up, let's see, it's been 3 months now, and I've lost about 32 pounds um, doing a new diet, and that worked for me, right? But, well, not a new diet, I guess a lifestyle. But how can you book a reading? Okay, so if that's what you want to do, Kim J, down below in the description, there should be a link to my website. It's on just tarot readings, but as soon as you click on that link, there you should be able to explore some different parts, and hopefully that can be something. I offer half-hour and hour readings, and just depending on what it is that we're doing, we can do a reading and then we can do some energy work too. If you feel like that would be something that we could try together, I feel like that one's really good. My guides are pretty strong when they start working with you guys, and so it needs to be something you're sure that you want to do. I'm not trying to say that to scare you guys away. It's just something that I say now because I can't control them, so it's kind of that sort of thing. Um, but it's a loving connection. It's a very kind connection. It's nothing bad. It's just strong. It can be pretty strong. So I'm just letting you know. But you should be able to find it. And if not, I might be able to find it for you here. Let me do this here. Okay. Here we go. This should give you what you need. There we go. That takes you guys directly to the energy healing part of my website. And you guys can look at some different options that I have there. Pretty fair prices, I'll say, considering there's some people that charge 2, 3, or even 4 times what I charge. But you guys take a look at that if you want to. But a lot of it, from what I've seen, if we're feeling tired and fatigued all the time, it can be spiritual. But for me, something that worked was I started doing the keto, right? The keto lifestyle stuff. And at first, you guys are probably thinking, "Oh, here we go," but it actually I lost 32 pounds in 3 months, and I've been feeling a lot better. I've been feeling a ton better, and it's hard to follow at first, but then your body just starts burning its own fat reserves instead of you know, trying to get rid of the fat. Your body actually uses the fat that you have as fuel, to power itself, and so that's an interesting thing. But that can be something. That can be something that can help too. It really just depends, because I've had it where there we go. Yeah, I've had some interesting experiences with my diet. My diet wasn't the best, so that's why I'm talking about it. Like, just it's no sugar primarily, no sugar or very minimal sugar, no grains of any kind, no wheat, no basically very low carbs. So no wheat, rice, potatoes, stuff like that, right? So you stay very low carb, no sugar, and your body kind of goes into a flu-like state for a little bit. They call it the keto flu. You're not going to feel good for a couple days. After that, though, your body goes into ketosis. It starts burning its fat reserves, and I was losing now it's plateaued for me, but I was losing like 8 pounds a week there for a while, and I wasn't doing hardly anything. And then you do intermittent fasting as well, and that's actually helped me quite a bit, quite a bit. And my energy was really low too, and I was constantly feeling some kind of pain somewhere in my body, like my knees or my elbows or um, my neck. I'd pull my neck out a lot. I still pull my neck out sometimes, but it's not as bad as it used to be. And then my heartburn went away too, for the most part. Certain things can still trigger it, but I was taking 2 Nexiums a day, one in the morning and one at night, and I was doing that for months. I mean, it was a long time, probably 4 months, 5 months that I was doing that. And eventually the heartburn got so bad that the actual Nexium didn't even do anything. It wasn't doing anything to help with the heartburn. So then I tried this diet, and it got rid of the heartburn, and I lost weight. So figured, why not kill 2 birds with 1 stone? And apple, if you guys are having heartburn, apple cider vinegar does not taste good, but it helps, right? Put apple cider vinegar in some water, mix it up, chug it down. It's weird, but for some reason, it just soothes that heartburn. Hey, Farine. I'm just going to call you Farine because I'm going to butcher that last name. It looks beautiful, though. I'm just not going to be able to say it. So here's what I do, guys. If the question you want to ask is like on psychic development, spiritual abilities, things like that, those questions are free if you guys are wondering about stuff like that. But if it's like a love related question or a financial related question, I do charge for those. You guys can definitely ask questions if it's more spiritually oriented, because those ones are free, and I want you guys to feel like you can chat with me in the little text boxes over here. But yeah, so it's $10 a question, or $10 for some light energy work. It wouldn't be a full session. It'd be about 5-6 minutes of a session doing some energy work. But if you guys are interested in more private one-on-one kind of readings, you guys can look down on my website below, because I definitely do offer that. And remember to like and subscribe. I can't say that enough. Literally, I can't say it enough. I have to keep saying it. So, you guys. Yeah, so hold on. Let me do this really quick. I'm going to move these over. Okay. Yeah, and we're focusing on the psychic. We're focusing on the psychic world. I'm going to shuffle some cards here. I do feel like chakras play a pretty big part. You know, they're basically like energy vortexes that we're talking about. But it takes kind of like a flow with life. If we have a flow and we kind of dance with life, so to speak. I'll explain that more here in a second. But if we have that, then when things come up, when things are happening to us, our chakras aren't as affected. Our spiritual body isn't as affected because we've learned how to roll with the punches, right? I talk about the parable of the farmer on here a lot, and it's basically describes how there is no perception of good or bad, but it's us that makes it so, right? A lot of times we can have a really bad situation happen in our lives, and then it turns out to be good at the end. It turns out that was actually a good thing. Or vice versa. Something really good happens, but it turns out it was one of the worst things we could have done, right? It's kind of like getting what we've been wishing for, finally getting it, and then being like, oh, yeah, this doesn't make me happy. You know, it's that kind of thing. Hopefully you guys can understand that, what I'm talking about there. Okay. So, let's look at this here. I'm just going to draw a card here, and we're going to look at the general, draw some cards, and we're going to look at the general energy for for this week, basically. It's still pretty early in the week. For some reason, I'm thinking it's Friday. It's Friday somewhere, right? It's Friday somewhere, so I'll just keep thinking that. All right, let's do this. Okay. Alright, so here we go. The general energy for the week is going to be, well, these ones right here. We have 3 of Swords right here. We have 9 of Wands. Alright. And then we have 7 of Wands in reverse. Okay. So this week's energy, I keep saying next week, this week's energy is going to be something where 3 of Swords could be us experiencing some sort of heartbreak. There could be something happening with some sort of heartbreak. That could absolutely be the case. Then we have the 9 of Wands here. Okay? This card right here is all about, it's kind of like we're struggling, we're trying to do the best we can, but we're struggling, so maybe we could be breaking our own heart over a project, over something that's going on in our lives, or a hobby. Maybe we were getting ready to go somewhere and have some fun, and plans are canceled. That's something that I could see as well. And then we have the seven of Wands in reverse. This, to me, we talked about this earlier when we were first talking about this, and that was that this could be a situation where if someone wants to misunderstand you, or you're in a situation where people don't want to hear what you have to say, it's important for us to walk away from those situations, even if that's hard for us to do. Certain points in time in our lives, we need to realize when it's appropriate for us to stand up for ourselves, And when we kind of just walk away. The way I think of it is like this. We stand up for ourselves with people that we care about and with people that we feel care about us. If someone's being out of line, something's going on, stand up for yourself with those kinds of people. I know that sounds backwards, but the confrontation of standing up for yourself is going to make it so that that person that cares for you isn't going to be doing that anymore. They're going to try to make things better. They're going to try and smooth things over as much as they can. It may not be perfect, but they're going to try. If people don't give a shit about you one way or the other, don't even try to argue with them because they don't want to hear it anyway. You're just going to be making yourself more upset. You think and also you think you're going to feel better after you've talked about stuff like letting someone know what's going on that doesn't care. You think you're going to feel better and you don't. I've had it many times. Narcissistic people that aren't really good for us, they just go completely kind of deaf. If you can imagine, they just go completely deaf. It goes in one ear and out the other. So, basically speaking, this week could be a week of hardships, but that generally means that there's going to be something good. Because the reason why things are difficult is because we're being challenged in some way, and when we're being challenged, that's when we grow. So it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to be challenged. It's not necessarily fun or comfortable, but last I checked, I don't think we were here to be fun or comfortable. That sentence made more sense in my head than it did when I said it out loud, so sorry about that. Let's look a little bit more here. What else do we need to know for this week's energy? What else can be a certain situation coming up here? A situation is like a situation, but it's me saying it, so it's a special thing. So let's look at this here. Alrighty. Let's do one more shuffle. Then let's do another shuffle. You guys didn't see that, but I messed up on the shuffle, so let's try it one more time. There we go. Alright, let's move these out of the way, and then I'm going to use these cards next. We're going to do some readings with these cards. This is the True Black Tarot. These cards are gorgeous. I'll show you what these look like here in a second, guys. If you're new to watching me, guys, welcome. I appreciate you stopping by. Please like and subscribe if you wouldn't mind. Helps the channel out, helps me out. Helps you guys know that you appreciate what I'm doing. Okay. So, what do we need to know for this next week's energy? Or for this week's energy. I'm sorry, guys. I keep messing up with that. Okay, here's what we got. The Moon. Okay. Four of Cups. And King of Wands in reverse. Okay. So, let's talk about this. I'm going to sit like one of those cool teachers in school that like wanting to be like one of the kids, like what's going on anyway. The Moon, Four of Cups. Let's see that one again. So look at this and tell me what you guys are seeing here. So we have someone here that is looking pretty kind of worn down, pretty kind of tired, right? Sort of like me after a bad day. And then we have the King of Wands in reverse, okay? So the way I see this here, the Moon represents hidden subconscious energies, right? And the Moon is interesting because the Moon deals with psychic ability as well. It deals with, I feel like the way the consciousnesses go, even they're labeled, right? There's a gender for the consciousnesses. Like the subconscious is feminine, the divine feminine, and then the masculine or divine masculine would be just the conscious mind. The subconscious is more symbolic. It's more about passivity. It's more about kind of being there, but being there in a form that is non-threatening, right? The divine masculine consciousness is kind of like going after what we want and really getting it, not necessarily overstepping our bounds, but the conscious mind is kind of all about doing. The subconscious mind is all about symbols. It's all about kind of interpreting different things, understanding different things. And when we dream, the subconscious mind likes to kick in and give us some really, really weird dreams. You guys got a dream, let me know about it. because I've had some weird ones in my day. Okay, so then the Four of Cups would be resting from the subconscious. So this could be us resting from the fact that maybe we're a very deep person and we need to take a break. We need to take a break. I used to think when I was younger, all deep all the time was the best way to do things. We need to have some mundane and we need to have some surface conversations. If we're all deep all the time, we're going to tire ourselves out. At least that's how it's worked for me so far. Um, I like deep conversations, but if that's all I have, it's kind of maddening, right? Because it becomes something where there's no easy connections. It becomes that kind of thing. There's nothing wrong with diving deep, but eventually we got to come up to breathe, right? So then we have King of Wands in reverse, or reverse, like I said. King of Wands in reverse is all about maybe we're feeling like there could be a fire energy individual that is being very um, they have a very congested viewpoint. And when I say congested, I mean someone who's not flexible with how they think. So we could be dealing with someone who is very forceful, very, like, they could be angry, they could be an aggravated person. And that is something that we kind of want to stay away from. So maybe there could be a fire sign individual, Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius, coming in here, and we're talking about the negative qualities of those. So we could have someone who is incredibly vain without anything else there, like they just care about themselves and that's it. We could have someone who's just very angry all the time, someone who, like, you look at them and you're like, man, you haven't worked on any emotional issues since you were like 3. And so that's kind of the mentality that we could be dealing with this kind of energy. But it's important for us to realize that other people are not our problems. Other people may have their problems, but they are not our problems, okay? Other people have to deal with their own shit. And so that's something we need to take on as well, is that we are not the healer of other people. It's important for us, if we feel like we need to rest, which is what the Four of Cups is showing here. It's showing emotional rest. It's showing kind of a taking a breather, so to speak. If we feel like we need to rest, do it. And don't feel bad about it, right? Don't have that Catholic guilt, like you can't rest, like you can't do anything without someone watching you and being like, I'm disappointed in you as a person. I want you guys to realize that it's okay for us to rest. It's okay for us to take time for ourselves, because no one else is going to do it for us. And we live in a world where selfishness, it has become a bad word. And the reason why I say that is because when we're dealing with that, when we're dealing with the selfishness, that's actually us taking care of ourselves. But because we've been told that to take care of ourselves is viewed as bad, right? We should always just care about other people and never care about ourselves. That makes it so that we're always in the back of our minds. We're always wanting to do things but never able to do them. There's this desire, but no way for us to fulfill it in any way, shape, or form. And so if that's the situation, then we need to kind of reevaluate what's going on. Hey, Monica Huda, welcome from the United States. I'm from the United States. You're from India, so welcome from the U.S. But yeah, so that's something that we can do. Just 1 second here. The train left the station, so I gotta see if I can find it again. Thank you, Monica, for asking how to ask questions instead of just barking them at me. I appreciate that. So I do ask for compensation. So $10 a question. I give you accurate, detailed answers, but it's one of those things where I don't do free questions. So hopefully that's not too much of a bummer. But resting, as I've said, guys, resting is a very important thing that we need to focus on. If I don't get my 17 hours of sleep a night, I'm shot the next day. That's how I am. I don't know if you guys are that way, but a good 17, 18 hours, I'm ready for the next day. Cats actually sleep that long, and I think sloths sleep a really long time too. I think. I'm not really sure. Not really sure. You guys will have to let me know. Like, and I think koalas sleep a long time as well. But I'm not quite there. But this, I'm glad you appreciate that, Rada. I'm glad you appreciate that. It's just me tonight. I tell jokes to entertain myself too. It's not just for you guys. Being a little selfish with that myself. Um, but I've honestly thought of it like this. My whole life, I've been doing the people pleasing stuff, and I still do sometimes because that's ingrained in me pretty strong. But my whole life, I've been doing the people pleasing. I've been doing the perfectionistic bullshit kind of situation. But I've had it. I'm glad you like him, Rada. I'm glad. I'm glad. My dad jokes are usually sad jokes, but you like them, so that's good. That's good. That's all I need. Usually bad jokes. That's what she said. Okay. But when I was doing the people pleasing, when I was doing all that, what happens is if other people, you feel like other people are more important than you lose your sense of identity because other people come in and they take priority over you. Maybe this could have happened when we were very young, growing up. That could be a situation that comes in here. And because of that, our parents have said, you know, your aunt and your uncle need to be comfortable. They get your bedroom, you don't get to say anything, like just, you know, take it kind of a thing. When they like come over to visit and you don't have a voice or you don't have anything you can say. And it's instilled into us at a very young age that company in the house is more important than we are in the house. When someone comes over, it's all about that person, and we need to do that. And so we tend to internalize that way of thinking growing up, and then it makes it so that all of our adult relationships are like I'll take care of my partner as much as they need, but when it comes to me taking time for myself, I'll never do it because I feel too guilty, right? Some partners they feel guilty taking a bath, or they feel guilty doing this or that because they've been told that they need to cater to other people their whole lives, or else that person might not love them. That person might kind of just up and abandon them if they're not constantly taking care of every need that they have. And so when I say selfish, I mean it in the way of saying that we deserve to have that love, that energy that we're giving to other people. We deserve that. We deserve that too. I'm not saying don't let other people drink from your love spring, but I am saying you drink from it too. I have no idea what a love spring is, but it sounds nice. It sounds like a good thing. And if we drink from that, that's going to give us something. That's going to give us that sense of renewed power, that sense of renewed power. And a lot of us have also been told that if we're confident in ourselves, that's bad, right? We're cocky, we're arrogant, we're snooty, snobby, whatever. But we've been told to have confidence in yourself is this horrible thing. And that's kind of the thing we need to succeed. So it's kind of funny that there's these diametrically opposed ideals of like, be very good and submissive so that other people can rule over you, and then, you know, you'll die miserable and bitter because that's how it is. So it's important for us to reclaim that. It's important for us to reclaim what's going on now, right? Okay. So I'm going to show you guys these other cards that I think you will really like. I've shown these ones before. I need to get more tarot decks, but some of you probably have not seen these, so I'll show them. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Let's do a couple more little shufflety-shuffleties. See what we can come up with here. Okay. By the way, if you guys are watching this, Star Wars, right here, if you guys are wondering what my shirt says, Star Wars, and I find your lack of cheer very disturbing, is what it says. But he's Darth Vader, so, you know, who is he to talk, right? He's not a nice person. You wouldn't want to meet him in an alley. You wouldn't like that, I can promise. Not unless you had the high ground. Okay. Nope. Here we go. Shuffle these up here. cards are very difficult to shuffle. Very nice cards. So I'll show you guys some of these as I hold them up. So, True Black Tarot, what can you tell us about this week? What energy can we be looking at for this week? It's the thickest cardstock you've ever seen. Incredibly thick. Just like me. Okay, so let's move this over here. Let's see what we got here. So I'm going to lay 3 cards down, but... Oh, we got some interesting ones here. Okay. Alright, so here's what these cards look like. They're just very cool. Very kind of an interesting one. So this one right here is the Page of Swords. So Page of Swords, this card right here, this deals with the air signs Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. Okay? This card here deals with new kind of energy. So when we're looking at the page, we're looking at new kind of thinking, new ways of thinking. But we could also be biting off more than we can chew, so to speak. So it's a novice attempt at something. This card isn't in reverse though, so it could be that we're learning something new this week. We're learning a new way of being, or we're learning how to incorporate a new way of thinking into our lives. This could come from maybe self-help books, or maybe something we're reading. You know, those two things were from books, weren't they? Okay. We could be watching something or learning something, but maybe we're trying to incorporate something new into our lives. And that's good. That shows change. That shows evolution. Trying new things, I feel like, is the whole thing for human experience. I don't do it, but, you know, if you guys can. So then we have the Destiny card right here. Okay? This card here is kind of like the Wheel of Fortune in other decks. So you can, here, I'll show you this card. So you can look at this, and you can see where these points come out. There's like these shiny, bright points of light, not unlike the background here where there's the lights shining. But there's these shiny points of light, and you can see that it's like creating something, okay? You can kind of imagine those little shiny points of light like coming in, and they're like creating a path. Destiny is thinking of something, and then that is becoming reality, right? And the way I see it too is this card is also empty on the inside, meaning that I don't think it has its own thoughts necessarily. I feel like other people can influence destiny to a degree, and so that's what it's doing, is it's holding up the universal cosmic order. It's in here and it's holding it up, and as we think it becomes, right? And so I feel like, and it could be law of attraction stuff, it could be manifesting stuff, but it could just be maybe thinking about finances differently, or maybe just trying to focus on improving our lives in some way. Not necessarily understanding how quite yet, but kind of getting a whiff of it. Kind of getting a little sniffity sniff, if you know what I mean. A little scratch and sniff, okay? But without the scratching, just the sniffage. Then we have this. We have the Queen of Wands in reverse, as we've talked about before. I'll show you what this card looks like upright, but it's having a hard time focusing on her face. Yeah. So she is holding a, you know when you've been on your phone too long, because I was going to do this to zoom in on my tarot cards. By God, one of these times it's going to work and it's going to freak me out. She's holding a golden rose. Okay? And that to me, so she's a queen, okay, the Queen of Wands. It's about passion, it's fiery. It can be somewhat sexual too, but it's about someone that owns their energy, someone that has the passion. Like think of your drama teacher in high school, if it was a woman, you know, or a man, but primarily think of the drama teacher, that kind of energy. It's like this very powerful kind of energy, but it's also kind of playful in its own way too. It's not too serious, but it's something that has authority. It's something that has power. So we could be trying to reinvent ourselves, maybe to get a new job, maybe to put ourselves out in the world in some way, right? This is something that I feel like maybe we're not vibing with right now, but there's a saying that says, fake it till you make it, and then break it. And then, no, I'm just kidding. But fake it till you make it is a saying where we kind of embody the thing that we're not, quote unquote, until we are. So that would mean, let's say I wanted to do tarot reading, okay? Or I wanted to be a psychic, or I wanted to do anything else that there is to do. I'm using those examples because those are the things I know, so back off. But I'm using those examples, okay? So if you're wanting to be a tarot reader, we would look at something where maybe you just record yourself and you just go for it. Like, you know the cards a little bit, you look up the ones you don't know. Maybe you have a cheat sheet off to the side, but you just do it. You just do it, and consequences be damned, whatever. You just let yourself do it. And that's a good way for us to focus and grow. A lot of people say, for anything that they're trying to learn or do, they say, oh, I couldn't possibly do that. That would take too long to do this or blah, blah, blah. What they're saying is, I just don't want to do it. I don't want to learn it. Anything we want to learn, we can learn. But putting ourselves in a mind frame where we are ready to learn, that's the difficult part in today's age, is allowing ourselves to be humble enough to learn something. Allowing ourselves to say, huh, I want to do that. That's kind of the place we're at right now. And for me, learning new skills, that's something I struggle with. Is understanding that these new skills, you have to start somewhere, and you're not going to be at the very top of your class, not usually, okay? Um, and that's okay. That's okay to learn, to go into that. But that's what I'm seeing here. There could be something where we're learning to express ourselves, and I feel like we're flowing with it. I don't feel like we're resisting it as much, but there's a part of us that could be thinking, there's a part of us that's already thinking of self-mastery, or it's already thinking of mastering this part, and we haven't even begun it. We haven't even begun learning about it quite yet. So that's what this card to me represents. We could be in a situation where we're jumping into something a little too quickly. Maybe we're telling people that we can, like, let's say we're learning how to fix a car, right? We don't know a carburetor from a carburito, we don't know those things. But we're telling people we'll be able to fix their cars in a couple weeks. We're like making plans, but we're not quite ready to do the things that we're planning out. So maybe we're being over ambitious or overzealous. And that can be a form of self-sabotage, because then it feels like we're disappointing people. But the reason why it feels like we're disappointing people is because we set ourselves up. We set ourselves up to try to learn something very, very quickly, and then when it doesn't work out, we can say, see, nothing works. But it's like, you did self-sabotage, though, just a little bit, tiny bit. Tiny bit there at the end, you did. And I've been guilty of that too. So I understand that we get excited. We're people, we get excited. We get the little girly giggles, and we go for it. But that's something that I feel like we definitely need to work on, is the fact that we're not perfect at this. We're not perfect at anything that we're doing. There's always room to grow. There's always room to learn. And as soon as we think we know it all, we don't know anything. That's actually when we know the least amount of anything, is because we feel like we can just say, oh, I'm a master at this. There's nothing else to learn. And we're missing out on a growth opportunity here. So that would be a shame, wouldn't it? I mean, I feel like we should learn as much as we can while we're here. We're not going to be here for very long on this earth. Yeah, it just gets really grim for me for no reason. I don't know. I don't know what that's all about. Oh. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to get rid of this microphone here, because I have to plug in my camera situation here, so hold on. Okay. That's good right there. Alright. So that's kind of the gist of it right there. A lot of us are dealing with how to empower the self, how to focus on self-empowerment. And the only thing you need to do to focus on self-empowerment is you need to come from a perspective of what would happen if I were to express myself, and then start expressing yourself, right? Because most of the time, I had a friend one time, like many times, he, and I still admire it to this day. He ended up being someone that isn't in my life now, but he was someone who could immediately get people to do things. Like, at first it wasn't in a negative way as things got, it became more negative, but he was so charismatic that he could change the energy of a situation or a room instantly. And people would look at him weird sometimes, but they never did anything, they never said anything, it was just looks. And from that kind of interaction, I realized that most of the time people are just going to look at you weird. People are too chicken shit to actually do anything. And as long as you're not overstepping your bounds, hurting yourself or anybody else, express yourself. Take that time. Because other people eventually, it's empowering to them too. To the right people, it's empowering to other people. They'll think you're nuts, but it doesn't matter what they think anyway. So, it's just that kind of energy that I feel like is important to have, where other people get to do what they want to do. And why shouldn't that be the case for us? Right? Why shouldn't we try something? Why shouldn't we open up? Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Please like and subscribe to let me know that you guys don't want me to fall asleep on camera. I'll still do it, but these cards are really good. I'm going to put them back now because they are so hard to shuffle, but their artwork is very, very beautiful. Actually, I'll show you guys a couple of my favorite cards here, and then I'll put them away. So give me a second here, and Radha says exactly. Awesome. I'm glad, Radha. I'm glad, not necessarily that you agree, but I'm glad that you understand kind of where I'm coming from, right? Because So I like this one. This is one of my favorites. There we go. This is the Lovers right here. Gorgeous card. Isn't that just the bee's knees right there? And I'm pretty sure bees do have knees, and so it actually does make sense. And beetles have genes. All right, hold on, guys. Hold on. I like the really vibrant cards, the kind of unique ones. So let me show you. Okay, this one's one of my favorites. This right here is the Tower card. And there's a little fox spirit down there. It's beautiful, and you can see you can see something behind it. You can see like an eyeball looking. And very gorgeous, very, very gorgeous card. This one's also really pretty too. This one, people always have an issue with this card, and it's really not a bad card. This one is Death. Let me see if I can hold it up the right way. These are actually a little hard to see, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the light so you guys can see them a little bit better. There is indeed an app for that, for me lowering my lights, so hold on a second. Oh, a little spooky. Wow. Wow, okay. So, that's the Death card right there. Very pretty, very interesting card. Awesome, Kim. Can't wait to work with you. You have a good one, okay? And good day, mate. Or shrimp on the Barbie to you. I don't know what Australians say when they say goodbye, but I assume it's something like that. But you have a good one, okay? Alright, so let's look at this. So we've got, this one's really pretty too. The Ace of Wands. Hard to see the quality of it on this camera. Sure, I have no problem. There we go. That looks better. I have no problem. This is the right here. This is the True Black Tarot, is what it's called, and it comes in a really nice box. It's magnetic, so it's a really nice box. Very like compact, and it's all of the cards and everything is like. It's kind of hard to see, but it's all like what do they call it? Embossed or like imprinted, right? You're very welcome, Rada. Feel free to ask questions. If I could say the name of the cards 1,000 times, and if you guys were still wondering about it, I just like conversation. I'm one of those people, so feel free to ask or do whatever. Okay, so show you another one of the cards I like here. Oh, I like this one. I like this one. This one is the Devil card, and I think it's gorgeous. And the Devil is not a bad card. The Devil is also Capricorn as well, but the Devil is not a bad card. It just means we could have issues with vices and addictions. So it could be something where we're blinding ourselves to our own vices. We're trying to escape reality in some way, shape, or form. So it's not a bad card. It's not like the funnest card to get in the world, but it doesn't necessarily mean negativity. But it means we need to work on, maybe we spend too much time on social media. Maybe we spend too much time on YouTube. I know I do, right? When I'm doing these lives, I'm on here forever. No, I'm just kidding. Everyone has their vices. Everyone has their things that get them through the day. Sometimes when we're stressed, we use those things to cope, and that's okay up to a point. If we're running from ourselves, we're running from our issues and our problems. Maybe let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that. I get it though. Life can be tough sometimes. Okay, which other one do I like here? I like this one just because of the colors, right? So I'll show you guys this because of the colors. Oh. Is that just one card? Okay. I told you they were thick. I thought it was 2 cards stacked together. Okay, so this right here is the 9 of coins. Or 9 of cups. Isn't that pretty? I mean, it's kind of hard to see all the colors. Very vibrant cards, very gorgeous cards. And I've got one of them in my room. I've got the Magician as a poster up in my room. Not as like the card, it's like up in my room somewhere. No, you can order the artwork as posters, and I think you can pick whichever one you want, whichever like major arcana you really like. And I'm gonna get this one as my next poster. This one's my favorite. That is the Temperance card. I always show off this one because it's just gorgeous. Such a pretty card. And the camera is not doing it justice. Her hair actually has a lot more to it than just like super, super vibrant red. There's a lot more darkness to the hair. There we go. You can kind of see it a little bit more. But gorgeous, gorgeous card. Yeah, I know, right? This one's beautiful. I love this card. I'll show you guys some other ones too. Let's see. This one's really cool. I always like getting this one in a reading because it usually means good news. So this one's really nice. This is the sun in this deck, and it's just, you can see the sun in the background glowing and the person dancing. Yeah, I love the artwork. I don't know if the same person that made this is working on a new deck, but I would love it if they had another one. Okay, this is the one I've got in my room hanging up. So numerology-wise, right? Numerology-wise, the way I found this card, my birthday is if you add the 2 and the 8, it equals 10. And in numerology, you would break that down to like one, right? And so one would be the magician. This is like the start of the tarot. Technically, the Fool is the start of the tarot, but this one is like the actual start of the tarot, kind of that sort of thing. Because the Fool card is actually a card of someone that you wouldn't know is a master at what they're doing. It's kind of like I would almost call it the guru to the uninitiated kind of person. It's like you wouldn't think the person's really wise, but the Fool is all about creating this illusion of being like, am I crazy or do I know exactly what I'm doing, but it seems like it's an accident? And so the Fool can be a card of self-mastery as well. Okay, and let's see what else we got here. That's kind of, all of the cards are really beautiful, but it's, hey, Mary Triss, how are you doing? I'll see if I can find another card here. And so, you guys, if you are wondering, a like and subscribe would be great, but before you do, I do charge $10 a question, so if you guys feel like that's something you can do, let me know. If not, that's okay too. Please feel free to chat with me. I won't answer personal questions, but I'm doing good, Mary. I am doing really good. Thank you for asking. That's very kind of you, my friend. I want to show you guys another card that's really cool. That like stands out, but those are my favorites. The Lovers, Temperance, the Magician, and hey, Tree, how are you doing? Hello, everybody. And Shelly A, I am doing good. How are you? How are you? Having a hard time there. This is a pretty one. This is a pretty card right here. You're welcome, Mary. You're very welcome. So, oh, he's playing with this toy. So right here, this is the Ace of Cups card. So I'm just showing off random cards from the True Black Tarot that I'm using. But isn't that pretty? Oh, God. I have a thing. I'm a Taurian, right? I got that Venus in me. And it sounds weird when I say it out loud, but I'm a Taurus. I like really nice things, right? I wear sweatpants, but damn it if I don't want a nice house. Let's do this. How much is a reading again? Okay, so if you want, we can do $10 for a question and kind of dive right in. If you have more questions, we can work on that too. So 10 for one question, 18 for two, and 25 for three. So you save money if you do the 25 route, but if you just have the one question. I also do energy work as well, like a little mini energy session here. Let's see what other cards are nice though. I showed you that one. Okay, Mary, so my rising sign is Virgo. Virgo is my rising. I looked at my birth chart yesterday. I was indeed born, so that did help me find out that I do exist. Still have no idea how to read them yet. I need to learn how to read the birth charts. I'm more of the intuitive and the tarot than I am the astrology, but I find it very fascinating. I just don't know a ton about it at this point in time. But what's your rising sign, Mary? If you don't mind me asking. Hopefully it's a tit for tat situation where we can kind of, you ask me, I ask you. And this card again, I'll show you guys, because some of you guys are new that are watching. This is the Tower card. And you'll notice like a prancing fox spirit at the Tower card's feet. Which to me is showing that even through chaos, there can be playfulness, right? The adult, right, can be having a situation where they're freaking out, but if they have a child, the child can be playing in their room and not necessarily understand anything that's going on. And neither one of those things is right? The adult freaking out or the child being playful, neither one of those things is quote unquote right or wrong. It's just a perception of what's going on in that reality, right? Let's see here. This one's pretty. This one's a pretty one. Pisces rising, which is the opposite of Virgo. I did check out the Stargirl video. It's funny you mentioned that. That's what it was. I watched that with my girlfriend, and that was it. We watched. I kind of tuned in a little bit later, or no, I don't think I finished it. I was on the 10th house. I need to watch the rest of it. I was like 12 minutes before I was done, but it was good. She did really good. I thought. This one here is the Hanged Man, which is just beautiful. And if you guys wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, I would appreciate it. And then my ghost won't haunt you when I dream. You know, that I can't help it. That just happens. But yeah, that's something I wouldn't mind you guys doing if you wouldn't mind. Also, okay, so I'm going to put this deck away. True Black Tarot, if you guys are wondering. Very cool deck. Very, very cool. But yeah, so that's one thing that I need to look at. I need to look at more tarot decks, right? It would not be a tarot bowl idea for me to look at more decks. That was a tarot bowl joke, though, so I can understand. Someone just left. It was that bad of a joke. Okay. All right, I hear you guys. I'm still going to do it, but I'll whisper the punchline now. So, you guys, because right now there's not a paid reading going on, and if there is one, that's great. But if there isn't, I still want you guys to feel like you can talk. Do you guys have any questions about psychic ability or spiritual things? If it's a non-personal question and everyone can benefit from the answer, those are the free questions. I want you guys to feel like you can talk. If not, that's okay too. We can just focus on just chatting about whatever. Maybe we could do a little bit of story time. I'd have to think of a story though first. So I've talked to you guys about a lot of this stuff. I did have some weird experiences when I was a kid. And it's really interesting that I had this when I was little. So at night, before I would go to bed, while I should have been in bed, I would have my eyes open. I was a 5-6-year-old. I was having trouble sleeping. I've always had trouble sleeping, even at that young age. Now it's not so bad. But when I was younger, my schedule was messed up like you wouldn't believe. Anyway, so I would be laying in my bed, and I would notice that this red mist, it's going to sound really weird, but a red mist would come into my room. And it always started out the same way. It always went down the same hallway. It always came in kind of the same way. It was very similar, but it was like this red mist that kind of slithered a little bit kind of like a snake, but it was like this red mist. And it would come closer and closer to me until I would close my eyes, and I could see it when my eyes were closed. So I would see red instead of black. And it was just this constant thing, and it scared me so bad when I was a kid. But then as I got older, it didn't bother me as much, and it was never meant to be anything scary. To this day, not really sure what that was. Haven't seen it in a super, super long time. But it was an interesting thing to have that red mist. And I knew when I went to school the next day, I knew it was something I couldn't talk about with other kids. And when you're like 5, 6, 7 years old, and you're learning things that you can't quite say to other kids. That's kind of tough, right? Because I couldn't be like, hey, do you guys have that red mist that comes in your room, and it's like scary, but you don't know why, but it's like there. I couldn't do that. I mean, I could have. You guys know what I'm saying. People look at you weird when you say stuff like that, especially when you're a kid. I guess you can get away with it more when you're a child, but I didn't want to be labeled as the weird kid. I already had a hard time fitting in, so I didn't want to be that kid that saw red things. I see red people. No, no, it's not that way. It was just anyway. I don't know if you guys have had an experience like that, but it was always at night when I was getting ready to sleep, and it was kind of the same time usually. And it was scary at first, like I said, and then it just wasn't anymore. It just was something that would happen. But that was an interesting thing. Let's see, what else is there? I've told you guys a lot of my stories. You had something, Rada? You had something happen? I'm just gonna switch this around. Make sure it's full bodied. I can taste notes of lemon and aid. Because this is lemonade. It's very sour at the end. Okay. I had I think I told you guys the experience I had with David. I'm not sure. That was one of the weirdest things. I would see this round green ball with a face at night, every night come to me. What did you feel, Rada, when you would see that? Hey, Tana Lake, or Luke, I'm sorry, I couldn't see. I have glasses, so you can tell there's some sort of vision impairment, and other times throughout the stream you'll see that too, so, or you'll see it, but I won't. Again, vision impairment. Okay, so Tana, Luke, um, I do charge $10 a question. I don't do free questions. I do appreciate the sub though. That was very kind of you to do that. Um, but interested, no fear. That's good. That's good. I was scared. I was scared when I was young. Obviously, I told you, but that's cool that you were interested. If that feels like something you want to do, Tana, I could understand that. If not, that's okay. You can stay and chat or do whatever it is you want to do. But did I tell you guys a story about David? I think I've said that story before. If not, I can go over that one. That's one of the weirdest experiences I've ever had as a child. Um, that was like a day where dimensions shifted, like weird stuff was happening and kind of creepy and freaky. When I was in the midst of it, though, I wasn't scared. Looking back on it now, it gives me the heebie-jeebies pretty bad. Um, I'll just go into the story. So I was about, let's see, like 8 or 9, right? And when I was 8 or 9 years old, me and a friend were out going to, I'm trying to remember what the place was called. It was basically like this, a rodeo spot, like the fairgrounds is what we called it. Okay, that's what it was called. The fairgrounds, and we went to these fairgrounds, and they're usually just set up for like they have derbies there, where cars run into each other. Then they have human derbies where humans run into each other. It's not as good. It's weird. I'm just kidding. But so then they have like horses, races, everything like that. But we went there, and me and him were walking around. We were looking around, and I was starting to like. It felt like I was hallucinating. Like it felt really strong. It felt like I walked into another dimension, right? And I was walking through, and it's the fairgrounds. So there's these sharp poles that come out of the ground. It's like they help make the fence or whatever in this little area. But there's these sharp poles, and they go up in the sky pretty high. And I was short back then, being young and all. That's something we've all experienced. Um, but as I was looking up, I saw I saw heart was feeling a little funny there. It's a weird story. It's weird because when I saw this as a kid, didn't feel anything. When I think about it now, it creeps me out. So I look up and I see someone who looks like they have the pole was straight up and down, and it looked like someone was like their throat. The pole went through their throat, and they were like doing this and like floating it up in the sky. And that in itself, it didn't freak me out then, but that in itself, that was weird. That was weird. But then I looked over at my friend. He saw the same thing. I didn't tell him what I saw. He told me what he saw, and I was like, oh, okay. And as a kid, you're like, that was weird, but whatever. Kid things. It was disturbing though, because it was like a naked man. Like, it was weird. It's weird. Anyway, that wasn't the weird part. So then we're walking around, and because it's these fairgrounds, right? Rodeos, horses, and all that kind of stuff go there. There's these part where it's like a stable where they put the horses after they're done racing them or whatever. And a bunch of the gates to the stable, parts of it were open and unopened, and so it created this like maze or this labyrinth like thing where you would like go in between these doors, and depending on if certain parts were open or closed, you could go through, or you would have to like crawl under or do whatever. It was a really weird setup now that I think about it. It just regular horse stables. It's just like a hallway, and then there's fences where the horse. Anyway, it wasn't like that though. It was weird. Um, but we're walking through this place, me and my friend, and he's, we're looking ahead. We're seeing this, and we look and we see this person up ahead of us, and he's probably the same age as us. And there's two little girls with him, right? I'm thinking they were his sisters or something. But here's where it gets kind of weird. So we're going after him. We're walking towards him because we see another kid, and when you're a kid, you're like, oh, a friend, And so we're walking up towards him, and as we do that, he ducks down. Okay, he ducks down, and then within like 10 seconds, he ducked down. I didn't hear any footsteps. I didn't hear anything like that. He ducked down, and he was behind us within 10 seconds, and the sisters were too. It was weird. It was because he was so far ahead of us, and then to appear behind us within a very short amount of time was unusual. Like, he would have had to have been hauling ass. I mean, and I would have heard footsteps or something. I didn't. There was like no sign, so that was weird. That was weird in itself. But then he comes up from behind us, and it gets weirder, Rada. This story gets really weird. I still don't have any idea what the hell happened, but so and this part's okay. Each part gets weirder than the last. We're walking around with David now. He's kind of teamed up with us. We're walking around. His two sisters that he has, they never said anything, and they had a constant grimace on their face, like they never said anything. Super super quiet, and they were just walking with us. And looking back on that now, I mean, it was really weird. It was, and anyway, so we're going around, we're doing this stuff, we're like looking around at things, and I accidentally open. It's kind of funny. There's something here. I accidentally open a door. I did something, and I cut my hand. Don't be too scared. Don't be too scared. It's not too creepy. It's weird, but I cut my hand, right? And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh man, that sucks. And as a kid, you're thinking you're gonna die. You get a paper cut, you're gonna die as a kid. You've signed your will. You're getting ready to pass on. You're there. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, yeah, this is bleeding a little bit. This isn't good. I'm freaking out. And David, who we're with, he has bandages. He just has bandages. Okay, what kid carries bandages? He reached in his pocket and he grabbed bandage, and I'm like, what the heck? As a kid though, you're like, oh, that's cool. Who the hell carries bandages with them? Um, anyway, so I thought that was weird in itself. A kid carrying a roll of bandage, and it was a big roll of band. It wasn't a band-aid. It was like the kind of bandage that you wrap around like this. Thinking that's weird. So I was like, all right, all right. I take the bandage. We talked to David for a little bit longer. He told me what school he went to, and all that kind of stuff, And so we were trying to find out about each other a little bit more. Then we left. We left the fairgrounds, and I guess David stayed there. I'm not really sure, but me and my friend left. And I go to see my mom, right? And when I got these, I told my mom about this kid and everything, and she saw that I cut my hand. I hadn't put the bandages on, right? But when he handed me those bandages, they were as fresh as can be. They were clean. Everything was fine. When I showed those bandages to my mom, they were rotten. I mean, they smelled awful. They just stunk. And they weren't like that before. My mom actually threw the bandages away because she's like, you're not going to put that on your cut. Don't do that. And I was kind of upset about that. So that was weird. He had bandages. They were rotten when I got home. Okay. And all of this happened. I've only had a few paranormal experiences, but this was the one that just kept building on it. It was the one that just kept having one thing after another, after another, after another. Normally it would be one incident, right? This just kept outdoing itself on how weird it got. So then I go to school the next day, and he told me what class he was in, and he told me all this stuff, and I'm talking to my teachers, right? I'm talking to my teachers, and I'm asking them about this person named David, and I can still remember what he looked like to this day. He had short blonde hair, not like super blonde, but like dirty blonde. Like mine is they call it like dirty blonde, I think is what they call it. It's like a dark blonde or like a brown. But his was lighter, not super light. But it was shorter, and then he had freckles, right? His teeth were kind of messed up. He's a kid, right? And then he had, normal face besides that. He had 2 eyes, a heart and a soul, I would assume. I don't know. I don't know with David. But I asked the teachers about the description of this kid, because he told me one of the teachers was his, teacher, and we had, in the United States, I don't know how it is anywhere else, school years before we get to middle school, we just have one teacher day in and day out, and that's for the year. That's for a whole year. But I talked to all the teachers. I give them a description of this David person, and I had more of a description back then than I just gave you guys now, because that was kind of vague. But no one had ever heard of anyone like that. And either he was a liar and he was really fast and he just had bandages on him for no reason, or I don't know. I don't know. To this day, I think about that, and it's just so weird. I've never seen him again or since, and the teacher said he didn't fit any description. No one. I don't remember, and it was a fairly big school, but we didn't have any kids named David, which seems weird. It's a pretty common name, but anyway. So, yeah, that was my story there. Very weird story. And I never had anything I did have one other event happen. Oh man, this one's creepy. I started getting the chills when I was talking about this one. So me and a friend, man, I'm not even kidding. I'm getting the chills. I forgot about this story, and then you remember it, and then you're like, okay. So me and my friends, the house that was across the street from my house where I lived, as a kid, right? So I'm still pretty young. I'm probably 12 at this point. 11, 12, maybe 13. But there's a house across the street from me that's for sale. I knew it was for sale for a while, but the back door to the house was open. It was always open. Inexplicably, always open. That back door was never closed. I don't mean the door was actually open, but I mean like it wasn't locked. So you could go and you could open the door. And so, um, and this is a weird story too. This one's a little weird. Me and my friend, the same friend from the fairgrounds, right? So me and my friend go into this place, and we're looking around, and it's just an empty house, and it's cool. Everything's fine. Everything's okay, and we're just looking around, having fun, just talking about stuff, and we felt like it was a hangout spot, and we would even hang out there sometimes together because it's like, I mean, even though my house was across the street and we had food, uh, that house was across the street too, and it didn't have food, and so kids are just going to stay there for some reason. But anyway, we're hanging out there, we're having a good time. We invite this other girl over, and she's very nice, she's a very, very sweet girl. And we're just kind of having fun, playing around, playing hide and seek, just, doing kid stuff. And so we've been hanging out in here for a little while now. Like, we've come here many times, me and my friend, and now this girl, and we're just having a good time. So I would say it's probably 3 or 4 months later. There's this. I invite my other friend, or rather, I feel like my friend invited himself over to this house. And when we went into the house, this is the part that's really strange too. And you guys can judge me however you want. I don't give a shit. But um, this was really weird. We go into the house, and I can still remember the layout of this house. You walk in the back door. There's a kitchen area, and then towards the entry or the exit way of the kitchen where you're going to enter the living room, there was this cabinet kind of thing that was built into the wall, and on this cabinet there was a nail that stuck out. On that nail there was a necklace. It had red string, so it was like a red yarn necklace, and there was an angel at the end of this necklace. Necklace had never been there before. That was never a thing. That was never there before. Think we would have noticed that, me and my friend, and no, it was bright red, the string, and it was this angel-looking necklace. And my friend looks at it, and he says, "Oh, I'm going to take that." And I immediately look at him, and I'm like, don't take it, don't take it, don't take it, don't take it. Like, I'm upset. But he takes it. I'm almost in tears. I'm upset that he's taking this thing. He takes it, and he goes home. I do too, right? And I kind of forgot that happened. You're a kid, you have other things you're thinking about, like food, for instance. That's a theme in this story. But so I go over there again with my friend and the other girl, right? So this is the other friend and the girl, and I go into the house this time, and we're in there, and it's like this weird feeling. You step in there, and I didn't say anything. I don't think I mentioned the necklace. I don't think I mentioned anything like that until we got in there. We started feeling some weird stuff, and I told him about the necklace then, because he hadn't been there, and I didn't think to bring it up. But I told him about the necklace then, but before we even said anything, we were all looking at each other. It felt so uneasy. It was like you were walking in on someone doing something, and like, it just did not feel right. I'm getting the chills as I'm saying this. It just didn't feel right. But being kids, being young and dumb, we decided to still play hide and seek or still do something, right? Still do something in the house. And so I remember this. I remember this so vividly. And it freaks me out every time. So we go downstairs, because this house had a basement. We never really went in the basement, though. We just kind of stayed on the first level. But we went downstairs, and the downstairs was right by where the kitchen area was. And then right by the kitchen area was the back door. So the basement was like right there. When you would walk in, you would just look over to the right. I think it was the right or the left. Anyway. But we went downstairs, we were messing around, and we had our backs to this cooler or fridge. I don't know what you'd call it, but it was like a something. something where you store stuff in that's like meat or whatever. And so we have our backs to this thing, and I remember hearing what sounded like the fridge door opening, right? It was like this sound of like an old fridge opening. I don't know how to describe it. Like old fridges had this sound of like a suction cup noise. It was anyway. But it was like this thing opened, and then it kind of closed again. But it was just like an opening sound, and we looked at each other and we're like, "That's weird, right?" And then we instantly all three of us look at each other, and when we do this, it's like we're already thinking all the same thing anyway, but it's just like run, run. That's the only thing that went through all of our heads was run. And I was thinking, I'm running, I'm running, and as I'm running, we're going up the stairs. I'm behind everybody else, and we're running up the stairs, and I heard the sound of that fridge that I was talking about, and instead of being a light close, it was loud. I mean, it was like super super loud, and then I'm going up the stairs. I'm running up the stairs, and I swear I was hearing footsteps chasing after me up the stairs, and they weren't normal footsteps. It was fast. It was like super super fast, and it felt like by the time I got out of that house, it almost felt like something was trying to reach for me as I was trying to get out. Like it was, oh man, it was disturbing. Never went in there again. Nope, never. After that, we never went in that house again. And the girl, if I can remember right, the girl never said anything about what happened, but my friend, he remembered that. But oh man, that was an experience, and that's one that even as I'm telling it now, I was getting goosebumps because that one was weird. And I honestly think the necklace that was taken from there had some sort of spiritual something for that house. And when it was taken, well, let's just say that necklace I think belonged to that house, and whatever was in there, yeah. And then we always had weird neighbors across the street. It was always these weird kind of people that would move in there, like, um, yeah, I don't know. It was weird. It was weird. And I remember I was talking to the neighbor one time, and after they'd moved in across the street, these neighbors were there, and I was talking to them, and they said they had some incidences, but it wasn't like anything crazy. And it's like, I guess we were the lucky ones then, right? But they also were kind of like not believing in that kind of stuff, so it wasn't like they had unexplained things happen, but somewhere in their mind they're like, I could explain it if I tried hard enough, so it's okay. But yeah, so that's kind of what I was dealing with. But hopefully you guys liked the story time. Yeah, please like and subscribe if you guys wouldn't mind. It would help me out a ton, and it helps me to understand you guys like this. Also, I'm going to be pausing Patreon. So I'm going to be pausing my Patreon stuff, and if you guys want to, instead, you can support me on the memberships down below in the description. I'm going to be doing Google memberships, and depending on how much you pledge a month, that's either going to be minor discounts on readings or up to having free questions. Having free questions each month, depending on what tier you sign up for. But check that out if it's something that's interesting. I will be pausing the Patreon, so that means no more payments will be made from there. I just wasn't able to fulfill my promise of original content on there. I still have the discounts, but I wasn't able to fulfill my promise of like original content, not yet anyway. So I'm just going to pause that for now, and anyone that is supporting me on there now, very very much appreciated. I don't feel like I'm giving you guys exactly what you're looking for quite yet. So look at the Google memberships and see. I mean, it's $3 is like the basic tier, and that gives you 10% off readings. And then depending on how high up you guys go, it's free questions or a free not free, but it's a 30-minute consultation with me. We can do energy work or a reading each month. Basically, it's a really good way for you guys to get in and learn stuff with me, work with me, if that's something you guys would feel like doing. But I'm going to let you guys go. I appreciate you guys stopping by very, very much. You guys were awesome. And thank you for listening to this old man talk about his olden days. The golden youth days. But thank you guys so much. I will see you probably tomorrow. So everyone take care. See you guys later. And toodaloo, everybody.